At this very moment, Doctors Without Borders is on the ground in communities around the world, delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most. Our teams are bandaging war-wounded patients caught in the crossfire in Sudan, providing clean drinking water in Haiti, and performing emergency C-sections in Yemen. Doctors Without Borders teams are in over 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving work is made possible by our movement of supporters, people like you who help our patients even when they're half a world away. At Doctors Without Borders, we won't stop working to bring our patients and their communities from crisis to care.
Visit linkedbylovetv.org to learn more about kidney disease, transplantation, and prevention. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
I mean, wow. Good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on the first day of August. It's a new world, 2024. I mean, talk about life is evolution, right? So we went back and got the old song because today we are actually simulcasting on both 1050 AM and 98.7. Because by the end of this month, we will exclusively be on 1050 AM.
And the ESPN New York.
And the ESPN New York. And of course, will be simulcasted on television on the Yes Network. But what they did was they went back to the archives and they got Joey's original song when we were on 1050. And Peter, as you could hear, that was clearly well before Joey hit puberty.
It's a different man.
It's a different voice. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
You didn't remember it that way,
No, I don't. And you know what? Frankly, it's startling.
Troubling?
Troubling, startling, bothersome.
Well, listen, we're here, and it's a great opportunity for you. Maybe you've been, like, delaying checking out, you know, how you get 1050. So if you want to check it out today, click AM, go to 1050, reset your preset, save that baby, and you can listen to us right there like you're listening to us on the FM.
Absolutely. And remember, though, we want you to remember, this is a warning that, what is it, August 26th, Anthony? I think it's August 26th. We will go exclusively to 1050 as well as the ESPN app.
That's right.
So when you turn on 98.7, we ain't going to be there. So you got to retrain yourself, reset your preset.
That's right, baby.
And if you have an electric car, you better get the app.
That is something I've heard.
Oh,
by the way, Michael,
it's true. My wife has an electric SUV. They don't have AM. So you better
not
get
even
the
an
app.
option. Wow. Well, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can tell what I'm wearing here on TV. But cover your ears if you watch the Olympics in prime time and you don't, and you're avoiding the news, cover your ears. But I am celebrating the big Simone Biles gold medal win with my USA shirt here today, Michael.
Pretty amazing performance, 27. And remember, all the jabronis out there and the haters, when she had to withdraw from the previous Olympics because of injury, you know, they dissed her. They made fun of her. She's an incredible, incredible athlete, one of the greatest this country has ever produced. So she wins the overall medal, a gold medal for her, and congratulations to her. It's outstanding, right?
Yeah, there is something strange about that sport that I don't watch very often, and then when you're watching greatness with it, a real pride that kicks in when you see her and Sunyi coming out at the end and with the American flag. She got the bronze. Lee got the bronze, by the way, and Simone got the gold. The Brazilian Andrade got the silver medal. But yeah, a really neat, prideful moment, and she truly is. I mean, when it comes to Olympic athletes, Michael, I know that we're not that into it on this show, but between where things started with Phelps, Usain Bolt,
Ledecky's pretty
Biles,
special too.
We've been watching an era of just some of the greatest athletes of all time.
We
It's been amazing.
do have to congratulate Katie Ledecky and our Islander benefactor, John Ledecky. I believe he's her uncle.
Uncle, that's
Yeah,
right.
so I mean, she's got
You know
8
where
gold
Katie
medals.
Ledecky's from? You know where she's from?
Katie Ledecky? Is she from
Yeah.
Chevy Chase?
She's from Bethesda, Maryland. Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Very proud. Very proud.
You didn't win any Olympic gold from where you're from.
I have not. I barely made the varsity. I had to beg my way onto the varsity baseball team. But listen, we're okay.
But, you know, you got yourself a uniform. I didn't.
That's a great point, and I'm proud of it to this
You
day.
should be. I mean, that's something, I'm not even joking. To be a participant in the arena is a big deal.
And the best part is that whenever this happens, it cues yes to show that handsome, thin photo of
With
me.
hair.
With hair and a backwards baseball cap wearing my BCC grays back in 1997.
By the way, Peter, if you're watching on TV, I have a new mic clip, too, that says 10:50 a.m.
I see the 10:50 mic clip, and I see the shirt of very... You know, I want to make fun of this shirt. I really do.
Yummy.
Like, on every level, I should be ripping Michael's sort of pizza-colored, bizarre-shaped shirt apart.
It's not pizza-colored.
But it looks good on you.
Thank you. I thought I'd go different today, you know?
No, it does look like pizza sauce.
What kind of pizza do you eat?
Hey, that doesn't give you pizza energy, this shirt?
No, not at all.
Well,
this is kind of orange.
but
I guess sauce is kind of orange.
Yeah, and not only is it giving you the sauce, but then with the shirt open, he's also giving you the chest meat. So you're getting all of it. You get the meat and the cheese. You know what I mean?
There's not a lot of chest rug going on.
No, you're keeping it together. We appreciate that on TV.
Yeah, thank you so much. There's no baseball today. Yankees and the Mets are both off. Tomorrow the Yankees will start their longest homestand of the year, 9 games, 10 days. The Yankee schedule really loosens up after they just swept the Phillies. So that's something to look at. But the Met schedule, as we start play today, Peter, there's very few games being played. The Mets are out of the playoffs, by the way. So just losing one game, and then those final 2 games to the Braves, the Mets are a half game out of a wild card, which brings us to Diamond Notes, driven to you by Nissan. And I only bring this up because the Mets now will start a 10-game West Coast-based swing. So tomorrow they start 3 games against the Angels in Anaheim. Angels are terrible. But the West Coast is a bear. Your body's not trained to play out there. You can laugh and go, oh, yeah. But believe me, it's different. Then they have to go to St. Louis to make up a rain-out game. Then they go to Colorado, and the Colorado Rockies stink. And then they will finish off with 3 games in Seattle. So, I mean, look at that travel, Peter. Anaheim, back to the middle of the country, St. Louis, then Colorado, and then back all the way to the top left of the country, Seattle. It's a bear of a trip. So there's 10 games on a West Coast swing in August. And what's a successful trip? Now, I think the bottom line, they got to go 5-5. The bottom line. Anything other than that, you got some serious concerns because other teams, the Padres are playing better. They made some big trades. They really made their bullpen better. The Cardinals are playing better. So they're going to continue to win. And obviously the Braves are the Braves, and I think they'll start to get some people back. And I think that they'll play pretty decent as well. So 5-5, I think, is rock bottom, Peter. 4-6, 3-7 gets me really nervous. What you'd like out of them, give me 6-4, come back and say, okay, we're good.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think you feel pretty good you land in that spot. You're being realistic, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, you also have the Diamondbacks playing really good baseball, too. I left them out. So right now, the top three spots are the Braves, the Padres, the Diamondbacks. The Cardinals are breathing down the Mets' neck. The Pirates, the Giants, the Reds. But I think it's the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks that the Mets have to worry about. So there are three spots. There are 5 teams that are going to play the musical chairs, and 2 are going to be left out. Is it going to be the Mets? If they like kind of wet the bed on this West Coast swing, it'll go a long way towards them being in bad shape. So it's hard to put this kind of pressure on them, but that's what this wild card does. There is pressure on them. They played tremendous baseball for about a month and a half, and they have vaulted themselves into the wild card conversation. They made some deals. They're better than they were before the trade deadline, but they didn't make that earth-shattering deal. And then, you give a little bit of a cause or a pause for concern. Severino didn't pitch well yesterday against the Twins. And Severino right now, I love Luis Severino.
You love you some
He's
Sevy.
a terrific guy, and when he's healthy, he's a terrific pitcher. But I will remind everybody that over the last 4 or 5 years, he pitched 200 innings total because of all the injuries he had with the Yankees. This year, he's over like 110 now already in 1 year. So you hope that game against the Twins was just a blip on the radar screen, and that now he's not going to go into a little bit of a dead period in the dog days of August. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do on this West Coast swing, but just the travel aspect of this is unforgiving. That makeup game in St. Louis is a killer. Think about it. You play the 3 games in Anaheim. If you didn't have that game rained out in St. Louis, that's an off day where you could be adjusting to the difference in the air, the thin air in Colorado during that off day. Instead, you're flying from Anaheim to St. Louis for 1 game, and then you're flying from St. Louis to Colorado, and you start play right away. So this is 10 games in 10 days, no rest at all, and that makeup is awful. And that's one of the things, everybody, and I've said this for a long time, the schedule the way it is, it's a bear. And I don't mean the Mets schedule, I mean baseball. You can't have rainouts. And when you have rainouts, what's going to happen is what's happening to the Mets, and it's unfair. And that's why, and this is a story for when Charlie has a show maybe in 40 years, I pull my hair out over this, Peter. It'll be the Charlie and Guadalupe show. I pull my hair out over this. There's no difference between now and 1941 in Sportsman's Park. The fact that in 2024, in the 21st century, that games could actually be rained out. And then you have to deal with this nonsense where the Mets have to go from Anaheim to St. Louis to Colorado. It stinks. Every one of these new ballparks that were built, they should have been ordered to build a retractable roof. Instead, they didn't. And that's why you have rainouts, and that's why the Mets are in the situation they are in, where they have to have this tough travel when, every single game for them means a lot. Every game for them means a lot. That's Diamond Notes, driven to you by Nissan. You deserve a car that thrills you, and Nissan's got an exciting full line that'll put goosebumps on your goosebumps. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store at nissanusa.com today. Also, later in the show, Peter, I think you're well aware of this because you've got some work to do. We're going to do the quarterback tables.
Yeah, you're damn right we are. It's updated, Michael.
Yeah. Who's at the top table? Who's at the kiddie table? Has anybody dropped from the main table? The one where Peter and Natalie were sitting.
That's right. Okay.
I didn't. I got to that table for a moment, but
you were still a tier 2 table.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a tier 2 person.
You know what? You're proud of that. You take tier 2.
Of course you do. 1-800-919-3776. What do you think? You get some phone calls? What do you think?
Well, only if it's old Yankee fans complaining about the deadline.
One more time, Inside Radio, everybody. So we just opened the show. Peter, you can back me up. You were listening, I hope. We just opened the show breaking down the Mets' upcoming road trip.
Yep.
And then I look at the lines, which are jammed, and there ain't one person that wants to talk about the Mets. So Met fans, pipe down when you say, you don't talk about the Mets enough. You don't call in.
Yeah, but maybe they're trying to, and they just can't get in over these obsessive, horny for the Yankees crowd.
Well, you know what? Then be better.
Wow.
Be better. Don't criticize us for not talking the Mets when we talk the Mets, and all we have is Yankee people. Don't you dare. We got grief the other day. ESPN Burner is a good listener to the show. All you do is talk about the Yankees, not talk about the Mets. Well, you know what? You play the hits on talk radio. The Mets, obviously, it doesn't qualify as a hit right now if you're not going to call in and talk about them.
I wonder also if maybe it does show there actually is, like, not the level of excitement that maybe we thought there would be for this team. Like, we think of it as they're exceeding expectations. How would you not be hyped up? Well, maybe the fan base isn't as jazzed as we think they are.
Speaking of jazz, let's start off with Lewis in Brooklyn. He wants to talk about Jazz Chisholm. Hello, Lewis.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So the Chisholm trade, I mean, I think it's working out well in the 4 games he's played, but Gleyber not wanting to move from second, they should force him to move from second. The amount of errors he causes and the lack of effort at second, they should put Jazz at second.
Move him where? Move Gleyber where?
Maybe the third base.
He'd be terrible at third base.
But I don't know
if he's going to be bad at second, why wouldn't he be bad at third? No answer.
Not what you want is the problem.
Listen, Gleyber Torres is the second baseman. If you play Jazz Chisholm at second, do you want LeMahieu at third? I know he had 6 RBIs yesterday, but that's what you want? Now, you might say Oswaldo Cabrera, who's been red hot of late. They're not going to do that. Right now, your second baseman going forward is Gleyber Torres. Eddie in Southern California. Eddie.
Is this thing on?
Hey, Eddie.
Sure it is.
Hey, before I talk about my Yankee point, I do want to share a quick story. So the other night, my wife and I were watching Blade Runner, the Harrison Ford vehicle.
Yeah, sure.
And there was a particular scene where Harrison Ford was enjoying a moment of intimacy with his love interest. And Harrison Ford was making out with this gal with his eyes open.
Oh, boy.
And my wife was aghast. And she said, what kind of a creep would be making out with his eyes open?
Tell your wife, Michael Kay.
What did you say?
I said it was the Yankee announcer, Michael Kay. He's one of those guys. And
exclusively. I will not close my eyes. I have to see everything.
I don't believe it.
You have to reconsider this.
No, I mean, listen, 63 years has treated me well. I am going to continue to open my eyes when I make out.
Wow. That's scary to think about.
Well, anyways, I'll get to the point. So I was watching the game yesterday, and it was a fun watch. And I believe Joe Girardi made the comment of Nestor Cortez's numbers, and they're a little back and forth, a little inconsistent. And so I was thinking, if Clark Schmidt comes back and he does okay, would the manager consider moving Nestor Cortez to the bullpen, where it seems like his numbers first time through the order seems to be okay? What do you guys think about that?
I don't particularly love it, Eddie, and tell your wife I'm sorry she feels like that about me. But the Yankees have a good bullpen, and the thing that's missing is swing and missability. And that's really not Nestor. He tops out maybe at 94, usually lives around 91, 92. Somebody's going to have to go out of the bullpen or go to the bullpen when Clark Schmidt comes back. But I think that what they might do is they might put Heel in the bullpen, because he's got definite swing and miss stuff, and he's up against, pushing innings that he's never pitched before. I just don't know if Nestor works that way. And I think what it's going to come down to, maybe the problem solves itself, which it usually does. And if not, you're going to take the guy in the rotation that's least effective. So at this point, you're going to choose between Nestor Cortez and Marcus Stroman. And the guy that goes to the bullpen, and when Clark Schmidt goes into the rotation, if they don't move Heel into the bullpen, is a guy that's performing poorly and becomes the long man. That's all there is to it. Let's go to Dan in New Jersey. Dan.
Hey, Michael and Peter. How are you guys today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited over this sweep, but I was going to call in yesterday, and the lines were jammed up, and I wanted to talk to you about this. Gleyber Torres in that ninth inning on Tuesday night had a really bad ninth inning where he dropped a double play ball that probably gets the Yankees out of the inning, and he dropped another one. He made another play where he's not good defensively at second base, and his late game offensive situations usually aren't that good, although he had the hit in Boston the other night. Would they ever consider, instead of moving Rice off first base, who's been very good and solid defensively, moving LeMay to play second instead of first in late game situations, given how bad Torres is defensively?
Well, I mean, again, we're leaning into it. It's hard to argue, Dan. He has not been good. He has more errors than any second baseman in the game, but he's not a terrible defender. He's just not. I mean, I think he loses concentration and makes stupid errors. I don't think he's at the point that they're going to, remove him for defense because, I mean, have there been that many instances with his 14 errors, and we thank you for the phone call, where he's cost them a said game? I can't recall. I think he's made a couple of big ones, but I just don't think he's actually a pretty good defender when he's locked in. For some reason, he doesn't lock in all the time. I think as the games get bigger, you would assume that he's going to lock in. I think this is going to come down to you perform, you're going to be in the lineup. Because now Aaron Boone has some maneuverability. He's got LeMahieu coming off the bench. He's got Cabrera coming off the bench. And those guys can play defense. So the guy that doesn't perform is the guy that's going to be removed. I just don't think we're at that point with Torres. Let's go to Ed in Seaford. What's up, Ed?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good. What's up, Ed?
Love the show.
Thanks.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
You guys really made COVID, it made us feel like we were hanging out with someone when at a time we couldn't hang out with someone.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's awesome, man. Thank you, dude.
My thoughts on why you're not getting Mets calls is I feel like the bulk of your calls are from people complaining about stuff. And yes, it's a tough road trip, but what does the Met fan really have to complain about right now? We're overachieving. We're winning at a clip that we didn't think that we'd win at. And I think that, there's not much to complain about.
Well, I hear what you're saying because usually the negative has a louder megaphone than a positive, and I think people call or probably move to call more to say something negative than they are positive. But Ed, we opened up with what do they have to do on this road trip? I mean, Met fans probably have an opinion. Do they have to go 5-5? Anything less than a 7-3 would annoy. I mean, instead, it's crickets, and I just don't. I don't subscribe. And we thank you for the phone call. I don't subscribe to the fact that just because things are going well, you don't want to talk about your team. That's silly. Why should it only be about what's bad? Why can't it be about what's good? But I guess, Peter, therein lies the rub in our country today. I think the town hall is only for people screaming about something they don't like rather than celebrating stuff that they like.
Yes, and in particular, when you talk about the Yankees, there's a culture in Yankee land of enjoying talking about the misery.
But what happened with Metland then?
I don't know. Maybe there is a Metland where they enjoy doing that too, but it may not have the same sort of anger and vitriol and passion that the Yankee base has for their team.
Let's go to Ralph in Belleville. Ralph.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Peter. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Guys, it's the first time I'm calling you. I was a Mike and the Mad Dog caller from start to finish. I'm a big Colts fan.
Okay.
And I'm going to bother you guys next month with the Colts.
Love it.
Can't wait.
Michael, I was glad that you stepped up about Danton getting a day off after he was out for 28 days.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you about Clay Holmes.
Okay.
Mike, he blew 5 out of 7 saves, 5 out of 7 appearances. And I know Joe Girardi was talking about soft contact. Mike, they got to get him out of the closer's role. He can't be in the closer's role.
Who should they put in?
5 out of 7 appearances.
Well, one thing, though, Ralph, you sound like a fan. You know that 2 of the 5, right? One of them they committed 2 errors behind him, and that turned into a blown save and a loss. So let's make it now 4 out of 7. And then whether you want to believe it or not, there was soft contact throughout that whole time against the Phillies, where the hardest hit ball was the final out by Bryce Harper. So he performed pretty well then. It didn't have any luck. That's the problem with him, Ralph, is that he's not a swing and miss guy. He's going to have you put the ball in play. But so let me ask you, you don't want him to close. Who do you want to close?
How about Leiter or Ian Hamilton when he gets back? And I don't know about the other guy they just got from the West Coast, but Leiter definitely has the swing and miss stuff, Mike.
He does, but he's never really profiled at this point as a closer, so I don't think they're going to do that. Ian Hamilton is an interesting choice. I don't think Enyel De Los Santos, the guy they got from the Padres, is somebody they would look at as a closer. Nick Birdie throws hard. But, in talking to Brian Cashman yesterday and just asking around and hearing what Aaron Judge said, he's their closer. They're not switching from him as a closer. They're just not. Now, did I think they were going to go get a hard-throwing guy that could maybe close games? Yeah, I did. But I saw an interesting story today in The Athletic.
All right.
Where, we talked about, who really did get traded, right? And so there are 70 guys that made the All-Star team. Yankees, the American League and the National League. 2 of the 70, Isaac Paredes, and who's the closer again from Miami? I always forget his name. Rogers? Trevor Rogers. That's the closer, right? The lefty. Anyway, the lefty closer from the Marlins that was traded to the Padres. Those are the only 2 All-Stars that were traded. There weren't great players traded. There were players that could help, but only 2 of the 70 men that made the All-Star game got traded. There just wasn't that needle mover. I mean, one of the best players that was traded is Jazz Chisholm. Tommy Pham is going to be a difference maker as well. I mean, there are guys that will help. Eric Fetty, Randy Arozarena. I get it. But 2 All-Stars. There just weren't a lot of, massive talents that were moved at the trade deadline because the prices were too high. And Tanner Scott. Thank you, Tanner Scott. No, I don't think is it Tanner Scott? Yeah, Tanner Scott. I just don't think Trevor Rogers is the starter that went to the Orioles. Tanner Scott went to the Padres. I just don't think there were enough teams that were sellers because a lot of teams think they're in it. 1-800-919-3776. We've got a lot to do. A lot to do. We want you to do it with us. We have the quarterback table again. We'll talk about the Giants and the Jets in training. Simone Biles wins the gold in the Olympics in gymnastics, which is great. Congratulations to her. So please sit back and enjoy right here on Yes and ESPN Radio.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
We started to use Square. As we moved from one location to 2, we quickly realised that we needed better data so that we could customise the curation for each of the markets. Originally, we started with the KDS. By adding the Square Online for the full grocery offering, we hoped to grow sales about 20-25%. And we used the loyalty program, which has definitely generated a lot of repeat business. Since onboarding with Square, we've tripled the business. It's been fantastic.
If we weren't proud of the craftsmanship and level of detail that go into every pair of Warby Parker glasses, well, we probably wouldn't show you how they're made, including this part, which is our favorite. Wow. And this is also great. Each pair comes standard with lenses that are scratch-resistant, anti-reflective, and UV protective. Try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com.
I'm the sort of person who really loves the feeling of the pen on the page. One of the things I love about Remarkable is that almost artist connection to the paper. It takes me into a whole different headspace. It doesn't feel so much like work. And that's one of the things that I really love about it, is that feel, that texture, that it actually feels like you're writing on paper. It's really a satisfying writing experience.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Scheduling is easy with Square Appointments. Clients can book online 24/7. Take payments at your station or the front desk. To offer seamless checkouts. Keep track of commissions and split tips with just a few clicks. Gain time and peace of mind with beauty tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today at square.com.
Let's explore your future with Udemy. You can learn how to program and build websites, study design and create logos, improve your presentation skills, and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
Visit your local Kia dealer. Lease the new 2024 Sorrento LX for $289 a month.
Hi, I'm Sally. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a flight nurse on a helicopter that specializes in trauma. I've been doing flight nursing for 24 years. I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to keep up. I wanted all the boost I could get. I heard about Prevagen from a friend. I read the clinical study on it, and it had good reviews. I've been taking Prevagen now for 5 years, and it's really helped me stay sharp and present. It's really worked for me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. So make it your best summer ever with Ford. Get your ideal combination of power and capability. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now. Returning lessees can now lease a Ford Explorer for just $319 a month for 24 months, only at your local Ford stores.
Soto keeps doing it. See ya. Chisholm's first Yankee home run. A monster blast by Aaron Judge.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
I'm going to stand up for my guy, Peter. I don't like people ripping him. I don't think it's fair. So on X right now, M-Easy writes, did Peter really need to ruin tonight's primetime Olympics only 3 minutes into the show? For the rest of us who are working, going to watch tonight, we made it all day avoiding hearing any highlights. This dude doesn't care about anybody but himself. What? He does it over and over. Well, my reply to M-Easy would be, dude, you're on X. I don't mean ecstasy. You're on Twitter. You're sending out tweets. You're not seeing that Simone Biles won the gold. You're avoiding that. How's that possible? So as long as you're on social media, you can't tell me that you've been avoiding hearing that Simone Biles won the gold. And it's been broadcast live already on all the NBC platforms. You're living in a different world now. It's not like the old days.
Well, wait, this defense is terrible. I'm so disappointed in you.
What?
Yeah, I am disappointed.
You had every
in your
right to
defense of
give
me.
that, is what I'm saying.
No, but that's not Anthony. What would your defense of me have been?
ESPN put out an alert about it?
No.
Oh, okay.
You both suck.
Thank you.
suck worse.
I said, guys, I'm giving you a warning. Cover your ears right now.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
gonna mention-
That's not a defense. That's stupidity and asinine.
No, that literally means if you care that much, turn off the station for a moment. I'm literally saying I'm about to spoil it. If you give
But
someone...
how would they know to turn off the station? We talked about it for 4 minutes. If they turned it off for like a second and came back, we're still talking about it. It's a bad take.
No, if you're the kind of person who cares to the point that you're tweeting about someone spoiling it, then you get off the station. I've done that. If you and to your point, fine, I'll take your extra support, but don't ignore the fact that I gave a warning. It's selfish. We do a sports show. There's a massive sports moment. I have to wait because Johnny Blowbank over there needs to wait till tonight to see it?
Well, you know what, Anthony, I'm taking back my defense. Easy, you're right. He's a creep. Because
and then you did it worse just now. You didn't give any warning. You just dropped it again.
Defense is you live in a world where everything that happens when it happens is broadcasted live on an NBC platform. They're not hiding it. We're not going to hide it. You get ESPN alerts on your phone, they alerted you. Sorry. You turn it to a sports talk show. Sorry.
People are wild, man. You both suck.
Thank you.
You suck worse.
And why did it have to be I only care about myself?
Well, that part was true.
But no, okay, fine. Not in this case. I wasn't doing it for myself. It's an we're going to ignore the fact that one of the greatest athletes of all time sort of completed an amazing comeback story today? Because, no, I get it. If you don't want to listen now, you want to wait till tomorrow and listen to the podcast, I get it, but come on.
You know one of the excuses, Peter, that we always heard? Zach Wilson failed with the Jets because of, the different offensive coordinators. He had different blah, 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 blah. Everything was working against him. It is August 1st, and the word out of Denver is he's already lost any chance of starting. And he's competing against Jarrett Stidham and, their draft pick Bo Nix. Not even taking first-team snaps anymore. You know what it is? He's not good. The Jets made a horrendous mistake. Horrendous. I'd like to know what they were looking at. Because now you got a really good offensive mind in Sean Payton, who turned a 6-foot quarterback into a Hall of Famer in New Orleans. And he can't get any traction. He lost it that early. It's going to be this. He's not good. And the Jets really screwed up. And that's why they're in bed now with Aaron Rodgers, because they screwed up so bad picking a quarterback that was so bad with the second pick in the draft. And now you can say, well, who would they have picked? The good quarterback was already taken. Then don't pick a quarterback. Just because you have the second pick in the draft doesn't mean you have to take a stinker, and that's what they did. The guy wasn't a captain on his own college team. And when he did play, it was during the COVID years, and he was playing against subpar teams. There wasn't A-level college football teams going up against BYU. Sorry. Awful pick. Joe Douglas will never get out from under that, ever. Second pick in the draft, wasted. Can't even start on the Broncos.
Oh, it's so bad, man. It is. I mean, we spent time yesterday on Evan Neal, Michael.
Right.
Evan Neal doesn't hold a candle to Zach Wilson.
No. I mean, when you pick a quarterback with the second pick, he's just dreadful. That you had to go get a 39-year-old quarterback who doesn't shut up. Let's go back to the Falls.
Man, imagine not being able to play in Denver. Wait till you get to them on the QB tables.
Yeah, is he even in the room?
That is so. If the season started today,
he's not in the room.
No, if the season started today, he's 2 slots behind Jared Stidham. And we had to, and this is why I'm retroactively angry. Okay, we had to talk to. He's a very nice guy. And we talked to Robert Saleh every week and had to get the word salad about what he was capable of. And then we talked to Douglas and get more word salad. Everyone. Then we had to hear Aaron Rodgers talk about what was possible with him.
And even Steve Young.
Oh, even our own Steve Blum. Steve Young.
Steve what? Steve Blum.
We'll hear that again.
Holy crap.
For some reason, I was thinking about the God Bless drop, and I put a BL on Steve Young. He became Steve Blum.
Why don't you take the rest of the segment, really?
I don't want to. But even the great Steve Blum, and in his case, I'll give him a pass. They clearly had a connection that went beyond football, right? Like, I get it. There was a family connection, etc. But we had to have all of these ridiculous conversations about the potential of Zach Wilson. He goes to a new place where it's starting over. And, Michael, not only is he starting over in a quarterback room that stinks.
And with an offensive genius as a coach.
And they brought you in, so they're clearly interested in trying to make it work. They believed in something. And he's going to end up, Michael, probably before the season starts, not on a team.
No, he could be the third-string quarterback.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe they'll keep him. Maybe not.
Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Kurt in Port Washington.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. We spoke the other day. I'm confused about something.
Okay.
Every week I hear about the Yankees having to dump salary. This is where my confusion is. They're the richest team in baseball. They make $1 billion a year between Yes and the Yankees. And they're having to dump salary.
Well, where did you hear they have to dump salary? They didn't dump any salary.
Well, they said they're going to cut Verdugo because they want his salary.
No, they're not going to cut him. They're not going to listen. His contract is up. He's going to be a free agent. They've got Jason Dominguez. Why wouldn't you have Jason Dominguez as your left fielder instead of Verdugo?
And they're going to get rid of Torres,
right? Because they don't like the way he plays.
But I mean, I hear this like once a week that the Yankees are trying to reduce their salary. They make $1 billion a year.
Well, I mean, how do you know what they make? I don't know what they make, and I work there.
Well, I mean, between Yes and the team, is it fair to say that they probably make $1 billion a year
in profit? No, I don't think they make $1 billion. No, I do not. And listen, I don't think we're going to hold telethons for them. But as I've said before, Kurt, it's a business. It's not like Steve Cohen, who owns .21 or whatever that's called, and that's how he makes money. The Mets are a hobby. This is the family business for the Steinbrenners. They own only like 49% of the team. There are other investors too. This is a business proposition. They don't own all of Yes. They own it with Sinclair. They own it with Redbird Capital. They own Yes with Amazon. So I mean, there are other investors too. And I agree with. I agree with Hal Steinbrenner. I don't think you need a $300 million payroll. And if you do have a $300 million payroll and you don't make it to the World Series, you have not spent the money wisely. You spent it on dead talent that's no longer viable. So I understand what he's saying. Texas Rangers won last year. They didn't have a $300 million salary or a payroll. The Mets, they had the highest payroll in baseball. They still do. What are they doing? They didn't even make the playoffs last year. And they're going to battle for it this year. Having the most payroll does not dictate that you win. So I think it comes down to, if you're a smart businessman, why am I spending all this money not to win when I could spend a little bit less, make more money for me and my investors, and still have a chance to win? I think all that Steinbrenner said was it's not tenable. And Kurt, what you're conveniently avoiding is that when you're over that final threshold, like the Yankees are and like the Mets are, every dollar you spent is $2. You lose out on draft positioning. You lose out on international signing money. You lose out on a lot of things that make it more difficult to win. So it's not just about, I don't want to spend the money, because Steve Cohen has $20 billion, a $20 billion fortune. He doesn't want to have a $300 million payroll anymore, because what they did in the basic agreement was make it so jarring that if you go over $300 million, it's not just going to hurt you in the wallet, it's going to hurt your ability to build a team. So that's why they don't want to have a $300 million payroll. Not because they're cheap. I laugh at that because you keep saying, well, they make $1 billion. Let's say that you're right and you're not. They don't make $1 billion profit. They don't. But let's say that that's the case. Why should they have to spend that? Don't they have the right to make money? So those that say they make $1 billion, you're probably of the mindset, well, they should have a $600 million payroll. This way you take the $400 million profit. It's not the way it works. Because anything over 300, let's say they do go to a $500 million payroll, that means they're spending $400 million on the extra $200 million. It's 105% tax. And on top of that, draft positioning, money for international signings, stuff like that. You people are so simplistic. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. The basic agreement was arranged that it makes it tough for any team to go over $300 million and succeed. Same thing with the NBA. That's just a hard cap. This is a soft cap with a tax that makes it really, really tough to win in the future. Peter, tell me about Dodge.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Investing is not for everyone, right? Wrong. Wealth comes from pennies, like oaks come from acorns. Wealth comes from the decision to invest, to bury your acorns, give them time to grow into a mighty oak like squirrels do. You see, investing was never meant to be an exclusive club. You just didn't have the right tools for it. Now you do, buckaroo. Acorns. Grow your own. Look at that. Beautiful.
Have you heard? Soda's not a dirty word anymore. Introducing Poppy. It's the iconic, refreshing flavor you crave, but with 3 grams of sugar. The future of soda is now. Poppy. Soda's back.
Hard water makes it hard to keep your home looking like the work of art you've always envisioned it would be. Culligan softeners reduce hard water buildup and your cleaning time, transforming every drop, every splash, every rinse into the fine art of a long-lasting clean. With a Culligan water softener, revel in the breathtaking beauty of your home, just the way you've always pictured it. Culligan, water you love.
Total value on this Silverado LT when you trade in an eligible vehicle. That's 10% below MSRP. See your local Chevy dealer.
Is your cat getting too cool? Give him Temptations dry cat food.
Hi, I'm Russell from Domino's, and I've heard from focus groups that some people don't love our hand-tossed crust. So let's just pretend I'm the CEO of Domino's. What would you tell me?
Too chewy.
Too chewy. Too doughy.
There is no comparison between a New York slice and Domino's.
Well, let's see what they think of Domino's new New York style pizza.
I like the size of it.
I like how it can fold easily.
There's New York pizza. This is what I look for, yeah.
Good for Domino's, for real.
Introducing Domino's New York style pizza. It's Domino's for people who don't like Domino's.
Here comes the heat!
Say hello to the Bronx Buds, Yes's first ever animated series for the whole family.
And the crowd goes wild!
Starting August 17th, join Riv, Bash, Oscar, and the rest of their gang for a baseball adventure around the Big Apple.
Bronx Pride is on the line.
Hexclad presents Bronx Buds, premiering Saturday, August 17th, exclusively on the Yes app. Brought to you by Hexclad.
Mwah. Magnifico. Is it time yet?
It's time.
Let's start for dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Hey, it's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Both local baseball teams have the night off, but the U.S. women's basketball team is taking on Belgium in group play. That's game time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Adam in Atlanta. Adam.
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well.
Got it. What's up?
Yeah, I'd like to say about Cashman's interview yesterday. It just seems like he sounded very political, and also with Holmes, he has a lot of confidence in him. But what about in the playoffs? If they make the playoffs and if they play the way they are, they probably have a decent chance of making it to the playoffs.
Right.
Is Holmes going to be the Holmes that we keep seeing, or because what Cashman was saying that he has a lot of confidence in him?
He does. Also, Holmes is going to be the closer in the postseason. Right.
And also on the business part, I see a lot of people calling and saying about they have to spend this amount, and the thing is, to be honest, as a fan, I really don't know what they have to do, because, A, they're not going to tank like the Orioles did, because the last 30, 35 years, the Yankees have had a winning percentage. That's not going to happen. And they're not going to, and I heard people saying, cut some of these players. They're not really going to eat all those contracts either, because the Yankees are, before anything, they're a business. So my thing is, I just don't know, and I'm being honest.
I don't know what you're talking. What don't you know
about the whole payroll situation?
Well, I mean, here's what it comes down to, Adam. A $300 million payroll should buy you a great team. I'm sorry, the Atlanta Braves don't have a $300 million payroll. The Phillies don't have a $300 million payroll. It should buy you a great team, and there should not be as many holes as there are on the Mets and the Dodgers and the Yankees for a $300 million payroll. But one thing I will just caution all of you: when you say go out and get this guy and go out and get this guy and give this guy a blank check, all of a sudden you're eating up a lot of your potential payroll. And then you try to get bargains, and bargains sometimes don't work out. And when you do spend money that is not well spent, it will haunt you. Because no matter what you think they make and how much money you think they earn and how much profit they get, there's a limit to what they're going to spend. This is not just the Yankees. This is every team, including the Mets. So when you screw up and you have a dead money contract there, yeah, those teams can really probably absorb it better than the Cincinnati Reds could, but it's still going to set you back. Think about it. a $300 million payroll, and you're scrambling at the trade deadline to fill holes. There shouldn't be holes on a $300 million team. There shouldn't be. The Dodgers made a truckload of trades. You know, everybody talks about how great the Dodgers are. They've won one World Series in a COVID year, and I don't discount that, by the way. Even Kenley Jansen said it was tougher that year than it would be any other year. So they won a championship. But they've spent as much money as anybody, and they've won one championship. And if you look at that team, yeah, I know they've got Freddie Freeman, and I know they have Mookie Betts, and I know they have Ohtani. They have a lot of holes, too. They don't have a shortstop. They're still scrambling for that. They had to put Mookie Betts there. So, to me, it's curious when a team has a $300 million payroll and they're scrambling to fill holes. Something's wrong. You didn't do a great job. So that's why when Hal Steinbrenner said, I don't think it's sustainable, I think he's talking about the taxes and then how it affects other things that you could do. He's also saying, you know what? We should have a good enough team at $300 million or $280 million. Anthony in Stony Point. Anthony.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good.
And Peter, listen, I got to tell you, my nerves, like now they're going on this road trip out west. I'll tell you, I'm a little nervous about it because it could either make them or break them, this road trip here. You know, the Angels, Seattle, Colorado. I mean, this is like a make-or-break road trip for them.
Well, I mean, it could certainly set them back, Ant. I'm not sure that they could be broken. I mean, if they go 2-8, that would go a long way toward breaking them. But it could really set them back and then force them to have to play unbelievable baseball just to get back in it. Because while they're playing this road trip, again, Cardinals, Padres, Braves, they're all going to be Diamondbacks. They're all going to be playing well. So there's 5 teams for 3 spots. 2 teams are going to be left out. So they're playing 3 games against the Angels. Now, I don't think that this is ridiculous. They should take all 3 games against the Angels. Angels are terrible. Let's say they lose to the Cardinals in that makeup game. They should take at least 2 out of 3 from the Rockies. So there's 5 wins right there. And then even if you win one of the games in Seattle, and you're good enough to win 2 out of 3, but let's say 1 and 2, you're 6-4. You take that, you sign for it, and go, thank you very much, sir. May I have another? They come out of this 6-4, they should be absolutely elated because you've erased the toughest remaining road trip in terms of distance and time, and you came out of it 1 and 2. Let's go to Mike in Brooklyn. Mike, we're 6-4.
Michael, Peter, how you guys doing?
Good. What's up?
Yeah, good. So I want to talk about the schedule, and it even goes deeper than that, Mike. So after this road trip, they come home for 9 games. Then they go back to San Diego and Arizona, 20 of the next 29 games on different time zones. That's brutal. Now, I agree with you that 6-4 will be good. I wanted to ask you, though, because I'm a season ticket holder, and I'll tell you, that in that Braves series, Citi Field was a zoo. That place is really electric right now.
Let me ask you, Mike, because I was watching the games on TV. Were each of the games sold out or close?
Yes, the Thursday. So what was interesting to me, the first game was a Thursday night, and that got like almost 35,000 for a Thursday nighter. They were pretty. Now I wouldn't say almost sold out per se, but like it was a 35,000 plus.
So big crowds, and they were
Even
loud.
The Monday night,
they were into it.
Oh. For that Friday night game when JD hit the grand slam, even the Thursday night game, it was very similar to 2015 against the Nationals when they swept them to get on their way. That's
cool. It should be like
that.
It should
now,
be.
I want to ask you though. The offense has kind of worried me a little bit because they've been very inconsistent since the All-Star break. Is that something we should worry about, or do you think the offense will be fine?
You know what, Mike? I think the offense could be fine. I think that's their strength. I think they've got professional hitters. I believe that Alonso's only going to be better. J.D. Martinez knows how to hit. Alvarez, to me, is a revelation. Vientos has been great. Lindor is playing MVP level. Nimmo's had a little bit of a downslide, but I believe in him. If he's healthy, he'll be fine. And maybe you get back Marte. I don't think the offense is going to be a problem at all. I really don't. Even McNeil's hitting. So, I mean, you're going to have slumps. Nobody stays hot for 162 games. But of all the things I worry about with the Mets, starting pitching is, well, Well, starting pitching in the bullpen are tied for me. I don't worry about their offense. I think their offense is just fine. All right, quarterback tables, and we're also going to hear from the owner of the New York Giants celebrating their 100th franchise anniversary today. 100th anniversary. They were formed on August 1st of 1925. We'll hear from John Mara and have a new quarterback table set up as well. It's Kay and Rosenberg and you on Yes and on ESPN Radio.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Mom?
Yeah.
I think we're out of toilet paper.
Oh, no.
Mom, we need more chips, Mom.
More chips, please.
More chips to be huge.
Chicken, a lot of chicken. Chicken on that plate. Chicken coming up.
Okay, hon, I'm going to need a lot of chicken.
What's with the accent?
Just trying something new.
When you feel like everyone needs a little bit of everything,
I'll handle it.
Shop BJ's Wholesale Club on Instacart. Same-day delivery in as fast as 1 hour. So whatever the needs may be, you got it covered. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first order.
It's Aaron Judge. Yeah.
Sometimes you get the feeling you're watching a Hall of Famer right in the middle of his prime.
The captain is rolling.
They're going to need a longer tape measure.
A monster blast. See ya. Wow.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Yes to in-game live stats.
What a home run for Soto.
With Strike Zone, pitch by pitch, and player stats. Live stats. Check it out now on the Yes app.
All centered on numbers. Some of the numbers might be familiar to you, but they all add up to tell your story. What do you want fans to think about when they see the number 23?
I wanted to be someone different on the field, to be just known for baseball.
The Story of My Number, presented by the New York Lottery. Streaming now exclusively on the Yes app.
Soto keeps doing it. See ya. Chisholm's first Yankee home run. A monster blast by Aaron Judge. That's always a good sign. We're glad that you can spend some time with us. We mentioned today is the 100th birthday of the New York Giants. They were born on August 1st of 1925.
I remember the old days.
Yeah, I've been a Giant fan since. And John Mara was at an unveiling of a mural at a medical center that the Giants are in business with. And we talked a little bit, and this is the owner of the Giants, talking about expectations for this season.
It's hard to articulate my expectations. I obviously want to show significant improvement over last year, but I'm not going to make any specific guarantees or demands or anything like that, but they know what I want to see, and I have a lot of confidence in this particular team. Communication is great, and I think we've added some good pieces now. It's time to show everybody.
Now, some of the pieces they added and changed offensive line, and Mara was asked, how concerned are you about the offensive line?
Way too early. You know, I've been to training camps all my life, and ever since I can remember, the offense is always behind the defense at this stage of the game. I think the pieces that we added to the offensive line will help us eventually. I know it looks a little shaky right now, but I have a lot of confidence in this coach, and I think we'll be just fine.
Also, Mara talked about Daniel Jones.
And I'm still happy we gave him that contract because I thought he played really well for us in 22. Last year he got hurt, and, you know, let's be honest, when he was playing, we weren't blocking anybody. So let's give him a chance with a better offensive line and with some weapons around him to see what he can do. I was nervous about giving up too much to go and get a quarterback, but I was prepared to let him do that if that's what they wanted to do. We made a decision to stay with Daniel and add a weapon for him, and I think that's going to work out for him.
Well, it better. And it's funny, Peter, because we had on Jordan Ron on yesterday, who covers the Giants for us, and he said that this is a make-or-break year for Shane and Dable. And we've thought about it, you know, separately. You know, what does break mean? What does make mean? What keeps them here for another year? You know, this is an era in sports where there's a quick trigger finger to fire people. The Giants before this, you know, had 3 coaches in a row lasting 2 years. It's ridiculous. Can't build a football team like that. So with a 17-game season, Peter, at 7-10, do they stay?
This is the ultimate question.
I know.
I think 7-10, but you can clearly see a change in Daniel Jones for the better, Michael, where like you believe like you found it, but like maybe you lose a couple close games, you know, and you could have just as easily been 9-8, but it just didn't happen. If you see the improvement, they love neighbors, Jones is better, everything else is generally pretty good, then I think they stay. Well, I think it completely hinges on Jones.
It's interesting, though, because not everyone 7-10 is made the same.
No.
So if you win 6 of the first 8 games you play, so you're 6-2, and then you end up 7-10, heads will roll. Now, if you start off the season 2-6, and you end up 7-10, it's how you get to 7-10. You know, Mara said later on that I want to walk off the field that last game feeling good about the future of the team. Well, the only way you feel good about the future of the team is if they play better as the season moves along. So how do they finish? Do they finish strong, or do they completely drop off a cliff? That's problematic. Now, I don't know if Daniel Jones is the guy who's going to dictate whether or not they stay, because he's not their problem. Yeah, they re-signed him. They didn't draft him. They were almost they had him foisted on them. So if Daniel Jones is bad and healthy, then, you know, their plan is to get a quarterback next year anyway. They tried to get Drake May.
I know that, and I know it's odd. I know it's odd that they'd be so tied to somebody who they didn't pick, but I kind of feel like they still are. Because if Jones is bad, the team is bad. If the team is bad, I think they move on from these guys. So I do think they end up tied to Jones just because the team's success is so tied to Jones.
Yeah, but again, they could say, listen, this guy can't play. I mean, they can always say that, and if he gets hurt, then that's a different level of...
But then it could have been, then couldn't have Shane had make the decision to do whatever they needed to move up and get a quarterback?
They tried, but the cost was too prohibitive because the Patriots wanted Drake May themselves. So were you prepared to give a Herschel Walker type of haul to get that pick? Now, the one thing that concerns me is if you do move on from Daniel Jones, then you've almost got to stick with these guys for 3 years. Because it's not fair for a new quarterback to have, okay, Brian Dable coach him, and then you have the growing pains of a first-year quarterback. Not everybody is C.J. Stroud. And you bring in another coach after that. No. Once you let them take another quarterback, they're locked in for another 3 years, Peter.
Right.
And I don't think that Joe Shane is in danger. I think the coach is always in danger before the GM. Now, I know they're tied at the hip. They came from Buffalo together. I understand that. But they do allow a GM to pick another coach. I don't think they both go together because then you're starting from zero again, which is not where you want to be. It's just not where you want to be.
No, it's not. Scary, scary proposition. This is a scary season for both teams.
Now, you know I'm a Dable fan.
Oh, I know.
And by the way, you see how he looks?
No, is he trimmed down?
Trim. I'd say he lost 70 pounds.
Come on.
And they say that in training camp so far, he's also a different guy, not yelling as much. So maybe they told him you got to lighten up on that a little bit, because that was always caught on camera too.
I wonder what he did to drop the.
He said he just ate better and worked out. He and his wife did it together.
A Pilates, apparently.
Yeah, Pilates.
There you go.
Yeah, I think over the winter I'm going to drop like 40.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I want to look so gaunt that people are concerned about me.
I don't know why that's the goal, but I hear you.
Because I think it's good for your health not to be over. You'd rather be under.
Absolutely, but when you just said literally the words where people would worry about your health, I don't know if that's where you need to go, right?
Well, I'll go where I want to go, okay?
Okay, I just thought the goal was health, so why would you want to be where people are worried about your health?
So they have a new mural inside the Giants training facility.
I saw that.
DAWG, D-A-W-G, discipline, attitude, will, and grit. I used to, a guy in public school, Will Grit.
Is that true?
No. So I don't like those kind of slogans. I didn't like when the Yankees were barking in the dugout and all that stuff. And dog is like such an overplayed word now. I want dogs on my team. You know what I mean? Give me something new.
I said this last week. It literally went from a term that a term won't even exist. Then all of a sudden, it's the only word that anyone can use to describe anything. It's like, how do we describe prior to this?
Tough, gritty, gamer, but now it's dog. Dog.
That's the only thing you could say.
That's it. Mara did talk about the parting of ways with Saquon Barkley. Here's the owner of the Giants.
I mean, every year there's going to be a personnel decision that I'm not 100% in favor of, but at the end of the day, you let the general manager and the coach, particularly if they have a unified conviction, make the decisions, and then about it later. But that was the decision that they made, and no, I wasn't crazy about it at the time. I didn't want to lose him, but I understood what their philosophy was, and you got to let them do their jobs.
And I think that's smart by Mara. I really do. You hire those people. He can't have his fingers in the salad. Let these guys do their job. And then, as Peter said so brilliantly last week, this is more of a gamble for Shane than keeping him. If you keep him, he gets hurt again. You could just say to Mara, he wanted him. Now, Mara did want him, and you said no. Not at that money. We're not taking him back. Now it's on you. So if you don't have a good year and then Saquon Barkley goes to the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, then you got some explaining to do. Let's go to Alan in Morristown.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? I love your show, and I think you guys generally try to make common sense, but you just made a statement about removing Dable and Shane after 3 years. But Cashman somehow, and I've been calling in for a long time, Cashman has been mediocre for a long time. He did some good things. He always does some good things. But you couldn't keep your job if you were as mediocre as he has been since 2009. We don't have pitching. I love the Yankees. I'm a Yankee fan. We never have enough pitching, starting pitching, other pitching. I get that he's trying to do his job, but it's a premier, team, and I really think it's time for him to go. I don't want to hear anymore that he can't be replaced, that there's nobody as good. Theo Epstein was replaced at Boston. He left Boston.
Nobody said he can't be replaced. I've never said that.
Well,
I said he's not going to be replaced because Hal Steinbrenner does not fire him. You could want him fired all you want. He's not going. And I don't know how the Dable thing, we didn't say that Dable should be fired. We're talking about one of our reporters came on and said that it's a make or break season. We're trying to decide what would be make or break. As you know, I've done this show 23 years. I've never asked for any individual in New York sports to be fired. I don't believe in doing that. There's families there. That's how people earn their living. Let Don and Peter do it if they want to. I am stringently against it. I'm not calling for anybody to be fired. I'm trying to explain if they would be.
And Dable has done a pretty good job. Not great last year, but he's brought this team.
So you don't think that Brian Cashman has done a pretty good job? You think he's done a bad job?
I think, listen, I think with the budget that he's got and the staff that he's got, anybody pretty much who knows that business could do
Really?
a pretty good
Really?
job.
Then why have the Mets made the playoffs 3 out of 17 years? Not everybody could do that.
I don't think the Mets have had great people either, but that doesn't mean...
Yeah, but just because you have a high payroll and a high budget does not mean that you automatically finish over 500 and make the playoffs. What I'm saying, Alan, is the Mets had a $330 million payroll last year, and they didn't make the playoffs, and they fired their manager. So it's not a gimme that you always finish over. Why doesn't every team do it that has money? There are teams that have money that don't even finish over 500. The Yankees have finished over 500 every year since 92. Now, I know the thing that gets stuck in the craw of people, World Series or bust. And I'm telling you, the Yankees should change their messaging. They should say, every year we're going to compete for a championship. World Series or bust is ridiculous. You have to get through 3 levels of playoffs. 3 levels of playoffs to get to the World Series. World Series or bust is not a realistic goal anymore. Playoffs and an ability to challenge for a championship, that should be their motto. But when you say unless you win a World Series, it's a bust, you're setting yourself up because nobody's winning World Series every single year. No one. They're just not. So in that world of World Series or bust, 29 teams were epic failures every single year. Silliness. The Yankees have to change their messaging because their fans have brainwashed themselves to the point if they don't win a World Series, it was an epic failure. You know what was an epic failure? Last year, when a team like the Yankees with a $300 million payroll doesn't make the playoffs and they're 82-80, that's an epic failure. Going to the 6th game of the ALCS, going to the 7th game of the ALCS, you can't convince me that's an epic failure. But you can convince me if you continue to hammer home World Series or bust. It's on them. It's a different world. It's not the same world when George Steinbrenner used to say that. And Derek Jeter used to say, if we don't win the World Series, we failed. It's a dumb thing to say in 2024. It's just stupid. You know, he also, what was on the line, Peter, that he wanted to talk about, we're hypocrites. We're calling for Dable's job. We never call for Cashman's job. Did we call for Dable's job? It's amazing what people hear.
You have to understand the difference. And I thought this when he called up. We're talking about what's likely to happen.
Right.
I don't know if you've noticed this. In the New York football teams, GMs go. That's not happening. Michael has never said he thinks that Brian Cashman should have the job for life. But that's what the situation appears to be. So we're just speculating on what would happen. No one's saying he should lose his job. In fact, I think it would probably be rushed to fire Shane after the season. But it is a conversation they're going to have with the climate of the NFL now if they fail again this year.
And one thing that Giant fans have to realize, he was handed a cupboard that was bare. Gettleman did a dreadful job because he was pushed by Mara to make one more run for Eli. That's why they drafted a running back with the 2nd pick in the draft, which is asinine. And that still had ramifications leading right through this offseason when the GM has to fight off the owner who wants to keep Saquon Barkley. Gettleman destroyed the cap in his drive to get Eli one more Super Bowl trophy. Joe Shane took over in absolutely terrible situation. No cap maneuverability and a bad roster. Sometimes it's hard to extract yourself out of that in 3 years. Now, Joe Shane has to answer to this, Peter. Evan Neal? Really? That's your pick in the first round, Evan Neal? I know you got Thibodeau. Evan Neal's not even going to be a starting offensive lineman this year? That's something he's going to have to answer to. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Leonard in Staten Island. Leonard.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. I'm a Yankee and a Giant season ticket holder. But so my fear is that the Giants don't do well this year and they fire Shane. They have to keep Shane. But I really called about the Yankees. So I'm not upset with Cash. You know, I go back to Dooley Womack. I'm a little older than you. So I'm from the Horace Clark era. So I'm so happy to have a good team. But I didn't hear anybody say this, and maybe they have. I can't listen all the time. One thing that if you think about it, Wells behind the plate, Wright's at first, Chisholm at second, Volpe at short, Dominguez and Jones in the outfield. We have a young, controllable team. We have a gap hole at third, but they'll just throw LeMahieu there. So, in a way, we're in pretty good shape financially if it wasn't for the Stanton contract, I think, because we're not really getting anything about that. But I haven't heard anybody mention that. He's done a good job with you. And you got on the mound, you're going to have Warren, Schmidt, and Heel. So you have a lot of young, controllable, inexpensive players on the team now.
Well, if it works out the way you're saying, Leonard, yes. And I think that if you're going, I don't think Spencer Jones is going to be ready next year. Dominguez is ready now. So I think that the plan is let's sign Soto, which is going to cost a lot. So then you have a lot of money tied up in Soto, Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, Carlos Rodon, Marcus Stroman, and Stanton. You let go of Rizzo. You let go of Verdugo. You let go of Torres. You probably end up letting go of Clay Holmes. And then you have to plug in with your young players. So Dominguez is going to be in your outfield. Now, either Judge plays left and Dominguez plays center or vice versa, and then Soto's over and right. Now, if they lose Soto and they don't get him, then they could have Dominguez, and maybe you sign Verdugo for a year or two until Spencer Jones is ready. The key to having highly paid superstars is to defray the cost somewhere else by having young, controllable stars for 6 years. That's the plan. That's the plan. So if they do bring back Soto, the plan is to fill the other spots with guys that make minimum wage and are really good players. Let's go to Q in the Bronx. Q.
How you doing, Mike McCabe?
Good. What's up?
Fellas, Peter and everybody else.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. It's very good to hear you guys. It's my first time getting through, so I'm very happy. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
I have an idea for the rainouts. So basically, we look at the schedule later on to see like what team is close to whatever team, like say the Mets and whoever they're playing, and they play their game at like a away stadium, and then that way like teams. Like say places like in states could see different teams. Like I could see two away teams instead of seeing my home team all the time just because of rain out. Like we could turn it into a positive thing.
Whoa. I don't get that. How would you know it's going to be rain that you put in a neutral site?
Well, okay, so say it rains in New York City, right? And the Mets was supposed to play St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
The Mets will basically agree to being the home team somewhere else.
But how would you make that decision the day it rains? I don't understand that.
No, that would be like a make. So just how they have like makeup days, it could be a makeup day that's closer when those teams are playing closer to each other. You get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Well, I mean, the reason why they made up the day when they did, which is going to be Monday. Q, thank you for the phone call. Is because that's the first open date that the two teams had. So they're playing that open date in St. Louis. It wouldn't matter if they played it in a retractable roof place. I understand what you're saying, just have a neutral site earlier so they don't have to do it. This is the only time the two teams could meet. So if you want to put that game on Monday in Texas, if the Rangers aren't playing there, I guess, but does that really solve anything? You're still playing that. You're still making this road trip untenable for the Mets. This is the only off day that they had where they could make it up. Let's go to Mike in Las Vegas. Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hello, guys. Hello. I'm here to tell you about the rings because rings are definitely something that is lucky. What I'm trying to say is that there have been two National League champions in 101 years back-to-back, the Giants and the Reds. And the American League, the Yankees, 24 years. So it's a total crapshoot, like you say, Mike. I don't know why everybody's getting on the Yankees, because nobody wins back-to-back. 2 in the National League in 101 years. Thank you.
No, it's very difficult, but again, it's like I'm talking out of both ends of my mouth, Peter, both sides of my mouth.
Or not at all.
Because
hard to...
what I'm saying is Yankee fans, because of how they've been programmed by the franchise, I understand why they're upset. My point is the organization has to change the messaging. It's not realistic to say World Series or bust for anybody, because there's going to be far more busts. There's so many busts, it's going to be like a Russ Meyer movie. It's a world of busts.
Okay.
29 teams bust. So for you to market it as World Series or bust, it's not smart, because you're programming your fans to be disappointed, because the likelihood of winning a World Series is very, very small. No matter what your payroll is. You got to get through all these levels of playoffs. You got the Russ Meyer joke, didn't you, Peter?
I did not.
You didn't?
No. I imagine it's like cop movies or something.
Russ Meyer is a director of like B movies that had really buxom, well-built women.
I see. I'm looking now.
He's known for that. So I knew that when I said that, maybe 0.5% of our audience got it, but that was for that 0.5%. I thought you would get it.
It was for the perverts, is what you're saying.
No, it's for people that are movie aficionados.
You're unbelievable.
Thank you.
The only one I've heard of Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Right.
I don't know if I've heard of anything else here.
Isn't there also a spaceship movie too?
There's Motor Psycho, The Immortal Mr. Tease,
right?
Mondo Topless,
yep.
Faster Pussycat Kill Kill,
yeah, and Quentin Tarantino kind of spun off one of his movies from that.
I do see that his choices.
Yes,
casting wise,
the women are very buxom and well built.
That's a good way. Yeah, sure.
All right, we're going to come back with your tables, Peter. You ready?
And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
We're sending custom thank you gifts to everyone on our team who helped us get there. I had to call Eric at Custom Ink. Custom Ink has been with us from the beginning, and he makes sure that we get everything we need and even reminds us of our own company milestones. This milestone, though, I get to tell him about. He is every bit as excited as we are and knows great quality products we can customize and send for the gifts. Celebrate all your milestones with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
We are both full-time active duty military, so our schedule varies. We are extremely busy, especially with both of us working.
During the week, we have limited time to go grocery shopping, so it's perfect to just come home and have something already in place.
And then we save money too. You just simply pay for what you're going to eat.
Yeah.
You don't have anything wasted. You're not going out to eat a lot. You're staying in the house and you're cooking the food that you bought.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale the way you want and the way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Gain time and peace of mind with tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Away makes luggage and bags that make packing, compressing, cinching, zipping, sliding, and going easier than ever. away. The finest premium arena club in the world comes alive in Brooklyn. Welcome to Crown Club, the Brooklyn Nets' most exclusive club in Barclays Center. Featuring a menu curated by Major Food Group with Carbone classics and a world-class wine list. To learn more about premium memberships at Barclays Center, visit brooklynnets.com/crown-club.
Enough, you can be A-OK. You gotta get checked, girl. Do I? Yes! Everybody has to get checked. See the big C today.
Chevy lets you begin every day fully charged, so you can go farther. And so can your money. Tow with confidence. Plus, stay connected with available OnStar technology. For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Get $5,750 total value on this Silverado LT when you trade in an eligible vehicle. That's 10% below MSRP. See your local Chevy dealer.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
Whoever said patience is a virtue never sat in these K5 GT sports seats. The powerful new Kia K5 GT is here. Lease a new 2025 K5 LXS for $279 a month.
Keeps doing it. See ya. Chisholm's first Yankee home run. A monster blast by Aaron Judge.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
It's so simple. You head on over to the ESPN New York app. You upload a photo of a device playing the new ESPN New York app for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience to meet and hang out with your favorite radio host. Now, mine that we're giving away this week is to get ringside seats to go to Friday Night SmackDown with me on Friday, October 25th at Barclays Center. We're going to hang out, take in the matches together, keep it locked all summer long for more great experiences like this. But it's that easy. All you got to do is head over to the ESPN New York app, which you should be doing anyway. And guys, if you've been hearing us talk about this like at length, it's all in a lead up to where we're going to land in a few weeks when we move to 10:50 a.m. And in fact, we're simulcasting there today. So if you've heard us say it and you haven't done it yet, just go download the ESPN New York app. It is actually a really simple, easy to use, free, awesome app.
I love it. I love it. It's important.
Now, you want to get into these tables?
Well, let's explain what the tables are for those that are new to the show. Shame on you. You should have been with us for years now. But Peter does quarterback tables at a wedding. So when if you've ever been married and you have to put together a wedding, the tables closest to the dais are, family and friends. And then as you spread out deeper and deeper and go deeper and deeper into the tables, those are people you just invited for a check. You don't even like them anyway. So Peter has put quarterback tables together. Table 1, the best quarterbacks. And then it drops after that to table 2, table 3, the kiddie table, whatever. So, Peter, you've thought some new things through now.
Well, it's a new situation, obviously.
A new world.
It's a new world, and we have new starters, and things have shuffled. We saw things from players last year. People evolve. Now, one difference with this year's list is we have decided to take Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams and put them at their own table, the kids' table.
Wow.
We are not going to bother trying. I've seen people try to bother guessing where one of those two guys go, but frankly, without any body of NFL work, it's just silly to me.
But don't you think that you're copping out though in the table list, because C.J. Stroud probably is at table 1 or 2 right now, and he was that from the first play he played.
Well, that's a great point, Michael, and that's why I said, that's why we update. But I think it would be silly for me to actually get up here and tell you where Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams will be. So, being that weddings have kids' tables, it works out great. Jaden, Caleb, give them a coloring book, some chicken tenders and French fries. Michael will share with you, and have a seat. Let's go to table 1, very similar to the last time I did this. There's just one, actually, there are a couple changes. Table 1, guys, according to yours truly. Michael, you want to guess?
Table 1, I would say you'd have to have Josh Allen there.
He is there.
Patrick Mahomes would be there.
He is there.
Jalen Hurts?
He is not there.
He's not there. Matthew Stafford?
He is not there.
Jared Goff?
Let me help you.
Patrick Mahomes, I said, right?
Yeah, your family's already been embarrassed. It's the last two remaining at table 1. Anthony, you want to guess? You know him.
Well, Joe Burrow.
That's right, of course.
He's got to be there.
Joe Cool. And who's the last one?
And let's see. Are you going with
Purple
Lamar
Birds?
Jackson?
There you go. It's got to be at this point, right? I think the days of doubting Lamar Jackson, still not my favorite arm when it comes to quarterback, but when it comes to winning games and being productive and putting...
I don't know, fight. So Lamar Jackson,
putting defense on their heels.
Jalen Hurts doesn't get to be at that table?
Oh, no, Jalen Hurts to me has taken a step back.
He was at that table.
He was at that table.
So was somebody else.
So was someone else who was at that table. And it's funny because I put both of those two people at another table that they may be disappointed to be at. But guess what, guys? This is what we do. We move on to table 2. Now, here's the way I viewed table 2. This is very subjective. Michael can fight with me. It's fine, but it's my game, and I'm happy to have the fight. I look at table 2 as... It very easily 1 year from now, I could see you being at table 1. You just haven't shown it yet.
You mean at your next wedding?
That's right. Michael, see, why do you do that?
What the?
I'm saying...
Yeah, when Natalie and I renew our vows.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yes. So
I can think of one person that was at your actual wedding that will not be there this time.
Is it because of yesterday? I'm sorry, Peter. I'm sorry that I gave you that.
No, not you.
No, not you.
No. I'm sorry.
You. It's someone. Yeah, it's someone who in tomorrow's meeting, Michael, will find out that John Winthrop's a big
fan. Yes.
Now, table 2. So, like I said, people are gonna get angry, going, they haven't shown as much. To me, these are the guys who I believe 1 year from now could easily be at the first table. My table 2, quarterback wedding. Jordan Love. I believe Jordan Love 1 year from now will be sitting at table 1. The body of work is small, but what he showed us was so damn good in year 1. Assuming he continues on the path that he was on, I would have him at table 1. This guy, we've maybe been waiting to take that step for a little bit longer. I know Michael is a huge fan. He could easily get there. Now maybe with a credible head coach he will. Justin Herbert.
Love him.
At table 2. Table 2 is interesting, man. A lot of kids and a veteran. You mentioned him earlier, Michael. He's not all the way up to table 1, but after that incredible rookie season, C.J. Stroud finds himself at table 2. You could easily see a world where if he continues at the way he started last season, he would be among the best in the league. And lastly, at table 2, Michael, you want to take a stab?
Lastly. Now, give me again, you've got...
Well, I did just give you a hint. I did just say a lot of kids and one veteran.
Kirk Cousins?
How about Mr. Aaron Rodgers sitting in the last seat at table 2?
See, I'm not quite sure why he's there. He didn't even play last year.
He did not play last year.
Didn't play well the year before that.
Well, no, he did play well the year before that. Let's. If you look realistically at his body of work the couple of years before he got hurt, man, that is still a top-tier quarterback. Michael, we're 2 years removed, and unfortunately, I have a bad feeling. I don't really see it working out with the Jets. But he was the league MVP in 2022. And how many 20s did I just say? In 2022, he was league MVP. So Rodgers is in the last seat at table 2.
2 people kicked off table 2, Peter?
2 people kicked off table 2. Wow. You're going to find some people.
There's some inconsistencies here, Peter. So Burrow has missed so much time, and he's at table 1. Aaron Rodgers, if you're not going to care about the time he's missed, then he should be at table 1. He's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but he's also 41 years old. Joe Burrow is in his prime. When he's playing, he is maybe, to me, the best arm in the league.
You're going to have a lot of people RSVPing no if they know where they're
sitting. All right, well, let's see when they hear about table 3. So table 3, to me, guys, are guys who are either just consistently really solid, maybe guys who could easily have been at table 2, but I'm just not all the way sure yet. A little bit of a mix there, but you're going to see a mix of veterans who are solid and you know who they are, and a couple of kids who may still have another level to go. I'm just not ready to put them in that table 2 category yet.
Kirk Cousins.
Table 3, Kirk Cousins is there. Go ahead.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is there.
See, Prescott should be at table 2, but
I'll help you out with 2 right now. Brock Tua. That's right. Brock Purdy and Tua Tagovailoa both sitting.
I love that Brock Tua. That's awesome.
They are both sitting at table 3 together, which leaves room for 4 more, 2 youngsters and 2 vets.
So this is a crowded table.
Oh, yeah, busy. Tables 3 and 4, very crowded.
Very crowded. Wow. Baker Mayfield. No, so he's at 4 probably.
No, you've said one of the names. You've said 2 of the names already. Jalen Hurts is sitting at table 3. Listen, he could have been at table 2, and there was a time he was at table 1 for me. So I did not love last year from Jalen Hurts. I'm a little unsure of where he ends up landing. I think sitting towards the front of table 3 is the right spot for Jalen Hurts.
Mr. Incredible, or whatever we call him, Russell Wilson?
No. Let me help you out now, Michael, before you embarrass your family. The rest of table 3 is filled out by Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, and Jared Goff. That is the rest of table 3.
So Russell Wilson, who has been to 2 Super Bowls, is not at your table 3. He's going to start for the Steelers.
No, he's not. How could he be at table 3?
I actually have a question, Peter.
Go ahead. I'm happy to help you out.
What did Goff and Purdy do? I guess, are you classifying table 2 differently this year? I guess you are.
I did. You know what?
Because what did they do to lose their table last year, I guess?
You know what? It's a great question by you.
That's why he's producer of the show.
Yeah, it's a great question by the reporter from the Bronx Gazette. Shut up, Fauci. I did sort of amend table 2. Yeah, table 2
that's fine then. All right.
Table 2 has sort of evolved into you're about to be on table 1. You just don't quite have the body of work. The reason, Michael, I'm sorry, Russell Wilson to me is at table 4 at this point.
Is he sitting with Justin Fields, who's on his team?
That's a great point. No, Justin Fields doesn't make the table.
Doesn't make a table. Wow.
No, well, Russell Wilson, we are expecting to be the starter. So we put Russell Wilson in there. We teamed him up with someone you just mentioned, Baker Mayfield, earned himself a contract, looked good in Tampa, but I don't think anyone's scared of Baker Mayfield. Geno Smith, we know exactly who he is now. Derek Carr, the poster boy for the front of the table 4 crowd. Richardson in Indianapolis showed us stuff. Maybe he could go up to table 3. Maybe he falls off and he's nothing. I don't know yet. Guess what? You'll find the New York Giants' Daniel Jones, sadly, sitting at table 4. At the end of the table with Will Levis, Jacoby Brissett, and Kyler Murray, rounding out the big table 4.
That's not a table
crowd.
You want to be on.
No, it's not. And neither is this table 5 crowd. And let me start off by saying Sam Darnold could easily get off of table 5. I could see a version where Sam Darnold, Michael, has a story this year, and we end up thrilled for him, and he finds himself at table 4 or 3.
You've always been a Darnold fan.
I have always been. He was a lovely kid. But when you look at the overall body of work, there's just not enough there. So you're looking at Bryce Young, at the front of table 5. You're looking at whatever's happened in Vegas. O'Connell and Minshew. Make them one person. O'Kinshew. They're sitting at table 5. Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy. We don't know what we're going to get. I'm going with Sam Darnold as a starter, which is why they're at table 5.
So does J.J. McCarthy at least get into the kiddie table?
He gets to sit at both. He's kind of like he's with
traveling.
Sam. He had to go with Sam because we don't know exactly what's happening in that quarterback room, but really he belongs at the kids' table.
That's a tough +1.
And then you have the repugnant room that Zach Wilson's not even a part of. Jared Stidham and Bo Nix also sitting from Denver at table 5. The kids' table, as I mentioned, Jaden Caleb and one leg of J.J. McCarthy. That is
so
it.
just Jay.
If you want to argue it, Michael, we can argue it, but I feel very comfortable with what I've done here.
Is Drake May Jacoby Brissett's +1 as well?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, right? Because we don't know.
He gets to go eat the chicken fingers with Michael Caleb.
Yeah, you have the chicken fingers with Kay, but you're also, you are there with your dad. Daddy is Jacoby Brissett.
Wow.
Now, what's your biggest issue with this list, Michael?
Well, some of the people at
Dak's
3 I
table
think
2?
should be at 2, and some of the people at 2 I think should be at 3. I didn't write them down, but I said, well, that's $1,000 a year. But I mean, he's going to give you the best gift, so he should be at table 1.
That's a great point. What about Jalen Hurts?
I like Jalen Hurts. What do you have him at 3?
Jalen Hurts was at 3.
He's got to be at 2.
That's a tough grading.
He's got to be at 2.
grading.
I mean, 3 is an insult. I wouldn't go if I was him.
He was at table 1.
Yeah, he dropped from 1 to 3. You're out of your mind.
Now, listen, I know I made up a lot of ground with Michael simply because of Brock Tua. Let's be honest.
That is one of the greatest things you've ever said, and I think if you're a smart businessman, I know you are, you should make a T-shirt with their 2 faces on it.
That's 2 bags.
And Haley Welch.
That's 2 bags. I've actually already just printed jerseys that say O'Kinshew on the back. So
no, Brock Tua is better.
You think Brock Tua is the better play?
Oh, my goodness, is it ever. You talk about like $65,000 per week, and that's what Haley Welch is getting. That's what you'd get for these T-shirts.
I can't. Every day we talk. You're the only person I know who refers to her by her real name. You show respect.
She's a businesswoman.
Yeah, and you respect. You don't just call her Hawk Tua girl. No,
because I know her real name and I respect her.
Yeah, and I respect. By the way, she is also at table 4. So congratulations to her. Anyways,
now all of a sudden, wait, now there's a lot of players clamoring to move to table 4.
Wait, Anthony. Jacob. How did Michael pronounce his name again? Her name?
Tour.
That's right.
Never let me up. That's smart.
No, that's a good one. So, anyways, we're happy to debate it.
Yeah, and then we'll get Yankee calls. 1-800-919-3776. We could actually, we could do a variety show with Sonny and Cher. Oh, what do you think about the bullpen? Hey, I talk for a living, Peter.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
For strokes and heart issues, because having access to the very best is what matters most. Greenwich Hospital, with the greatest of care.
Not every decision you make will be as good as getting a Volkswagen at the Savvy VW Summer Sales Event. 2024 Volkswagen models cost less to maintain than Honda. Get 0.9% APR financing or a $3,500 customer bonus on a new 2024 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Does RexMD really work? Over 85% of patients said not only does it work, they saw results the very first night. Get started today with a 3-month trial pack if appropriate at tryrexmd.com.
Everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too. That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer. But do you have to wedge it into everything?
This reminds me of my bike. Look how the brushstrokes follow the line on the gas tank. I had no idea this was a motorcycle exhibit.
My daughter Natalie was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma. She was my only daddy's girl.
When I walked in the door, she was the first one to run and give me a hug. By the time we realized that she was sick, it had grown into about a softball-sized tumor and spread through her bone marrow, her lymph nodes.
We thought we were losing our daughter. And then when we came to St. Jude, everything changed. I see these massive jumps in what can happen for children and families from the work that's being done here at St. Jude. And we have doctors here who are working on that research right now.
I hope they can keep going and keep doing the research and keep advancing all the treatments so that kids don't have to deal with this anymore.
At St. Jude, there was hope.
Hope changes everything.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Blue Chew? Yeah, you know Blue Chew? Yeah, so it's like chewable tablet things like... Oh, girl, how do you know Blue Chew? Her man. Come on. And it made you like him more, right? Absolutely. Or you could... Where do I get Blue Chew? Well, you can go online and get your first month free, actually, so...
Popeyes has the best of both wings. Our juicy chicken is marinated to perfection with 2 distinct twists on all 6 flavors. Whether you prefer our spicy bone-in wings or our classic tender white meat boneless wings, we've got the best of both.
Chicken from Popeyes. He come on flat top, he come grooving up slowly. He got juju eyeball, he would holy roller. He got I know you, you know me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
I'm starting time for dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
For any little leaguer, the tip I would give them is just, keep working hard. Keep working hard. I think that's the most important thing is, you guys, after you do all your schoolwork and, do all that, but getting a chance to, if coach tells you that, you got 10 ground balls and, take 20 swings in the cage, man, take an extra 5 ground balls, take an extra 10 ground balls, 10 extra swings in the cage, and I think those little things you do, every single day and practice, away from practice, that's all going to add up to you being a better baseball player and eventually just get the most out of what you got. So I would just say, continue to work hard and never be satisfied.
All right, so Peter just did his quarterback tables. Now it's time for me to fight back. So at table 1, he has Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson. Well, okay. But for some reason, he has Jordan Love at table 2. Jordan Love had 9 good games last year. 9. And he gets to be at table 2, while a guy who has a Super Bowl ring, Matthew Stafford, is at table 3. Dak Prescott's at table 3. Doesn't make sense. Jordan Love doesn't belong at table 2. I think you're doing that because you're your buddy.
No, so I promise you, the Jordan Love rating is based solely on statistics and eye test. I just
all right. So then Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be at table 2, unless you're talking about he's getting it, for a legacy award.
No, I'm giving Aaron Rodgers, for being maybe the best quarterback I've ever seen, the benefit of the doubt. He didn't play last year. The last time I saw him, he still looked like, at the very least, a table 2, if not table 1 quarterback.
All right, so how come Matthew Stafford's not a table 2? How come Jalen Hurts? And Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, to me, is the definition. Dak Prescott's entire career, to me, is top of table 3. You know what? Fine. You want to argue bottom of table 2 versus top of table 3? Well,
yeah, but you have Lamar at table 1, right? Lamar is 2 for 4 in the postseason, 75.7 rating. Dak, 2 for 5 in the postseason, 91.8 rating, 14 TD, 7 interceptions. Goff is 4 and 4 in the postseason, 88.4, and an 8 TD, 2 interception, while Lamar is 6 TD, 6 interception, and you have him at the top table? I'm sorry, I can't accept it.
Well, listen, Lamar still has a lot of time to prove what his mettle is in the playoffs, but when it comes to week, he's an impossible quarterback to game plan for. I mean, this team just literally wins 11, 12 games without, you know it. You just know it's going to happen. He guarantees wins for this team.
Well, Dak Prescott got 12 wins last year.
He did. He had a very good year last year.
Brock Purdy wins all the time. All he does is win, no matter what.
But in the case of both Dak and Brock Purdy, I feel like their winning is schemed really nicely for them. In the case of Lamar Jackson, he is the scheme.
Jalen Hurts should not be a table 2.
Jalen Hurts could have been a table 2. I don't know what it is I'm feeling about Jalen Hurts that I'm just not feeling. I'm not sure what it is that I'm not feeling, but there's something that I'm not feeling. You're feeling it still?
Yeah.
You're still feeling it?
Yeah. He's a good player.
Something about it I'm just still not feeling.
I mean, if you had NFL coaches say you have to have one quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and you know how I feel about Justin Herbert, love him. Jalen Hurts or Justin Herbert.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love. You don't think a lot of them are picking Jalen Hurts?
I don't honestly. I know I'm out of my skis saying this. I don't think any expert would take him over Jordan Love.
Ooh.
I think all the football people know that I'm right about Jordan Love. He's the deal.
Jalen Hurts is looked at as a deal too.
Jalen Hurts to me is deal of J's.
Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl.
All right, you know what? Listen, I'm an open-minded person. I'll have a conversation. Listen, this is sort of like votes for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We can argue this thing out. We can. Is that the one you feel the most passionate about?
No. I feel passionately about a lot of them. I feel passionate about Prescott. I feel passionate about Matthew Stafford should be at that second table. Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Famer.
I understand, but right now, you really think that's where he deserves to be? Like, in terms of when you're looking
over Justin Herbert? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
If you were starting a team right now, you would do it
win this year? That's not a good question. If I'm starting a team right now, I want Herbert because he's younger. If you give me a ready-made team to go to the Super Bowl, I might take Matthew Stafford over Justin Herbert if they're both healthy.
Justin Herbert's been put in a bad coaching situation the last few years.
Well, let's see what he does with Jimbo.
Let's see. I'm very confident. And by the way, during that period in which he's had no coaching whatsoever, he's given you 114 touchdowns and 42 interceptions. He threw for 5,000 yards in 2021. Almost did it again in 2022. Numbers were certainly down last year. Only played 13 games.
I love the guy.
I'm still believing it.
You have 8 guys at table 3, 4 at table 2. You should have gone 6 and 6.
All right, you know what? I'm willing to hear that. I think that makes sense. If I were to take 2, and move them to table 2, I would take Jalen Hurts because I think you're right. I think that's fair. I think that was hasty by me to move him that far. I would take Hurts. I'll do that.
And then you have to choose between Prescott and Stafford.
If that's you know what? And given the year that he had last year, even though I think he's sort of the definition of a table 3 guy, given what he did last year, I'm going to give it to Dak. So I will I've made table 2, Love, Herbert, CJ, Rodgers, Hurts, Dak. Table 3, Stafford, Lawrence, Brock, Tua, Cousins, Goff. How about that? You feel better? That feels better.
I feel a little better. I still feel violated.
I feel good. I actually feel better. I think that looks more right. That, to me, feels more right.
I think there's a lot of these quarterbacks are going to RSVP no.
Well, guess what? Then they're not welcome.
We have so much more to do. 1-800-919-3776. Please do it with us right here on Yes and ESPN Radio.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Yes to in-game live stats.
What a home run for Soto.
With Strike Zone, pitch by pitch, and player stats. Live stats. Check it out now on the Yes app.
That's Aaron Judge. Yeah.
Sometimes you get the feeling you're watching a Hall of Famer right in the middle of his prime.
The captain is rolling.
They're going to need a longer tape measure.
A monster blast. See ya. Wow.
Pizza. Try it tonight.
I'm former Major League pitcher Andy Pettit. I teamed up with Tunnel to Towers after seeing their life-changing work with military and first responder families. Now we're expanding our mission to help veterans struggling with homelessness. We want to help them rebuild their lives not only by giving them a home, but by providing the services they need. Please join me in donating at t2t.org.
Not every decision you make will be as good as getting a Volkswagen at the Savvy VW Summer Sales Event. 2024 Volkswagen models cost less to maintain than Honda. Get 1.9% APR financing or a $2,500 customer bonus on a new 2024 Tiguan.
Popeyes has the best of both wings. Our juicy chicken is marinated to perfection with 2 distinct twists on all 6 flavors. Whether you prefer our spicy bone-in wings or our classic tender white meat boneless wings, we've got the best of both.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Our incredible same-game parlay gets even better when you add Profit Boost. You can still combine all of your favorite selections to increase your potential winnings, but now we're giving you the option to boost your profit up to an extra 30%. Look out for a Profit Boost on select games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Chevy lets you begin every day fully charged, so you can go farther. And so can your money. Tow with confidence. Plus, stay connected with available OnStar technology. For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Get $5,750 total value on this Silverado LT when you trade in an eligible vehicle. That's 10% below MSRP. See your local Chevy dealer.
Deciding who to vote for is important. There are people, organizations, and foreign adversaries trying to trip us up, manipulate our views, and redirect or even discourage our vote. Whether it's bogus claims designed to stop us from voting or convincing digital fakes trying to sway our opinions, we all need to double-check our facts. Watch out for phrases that frequently accompany political disinformation like, make this go viral, or conspiratorial statements like, the media won't cover this. It's your vote, not theirs. Use it wisely. Be informed, not misled.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Here comes the heat!
Say hello to the Bronx Buds, Yes's first ever animated series for the whole family.
And the crowd goes wild!
Starting August 17th, join Riv, Bash, Oscar, and the rest of their gang for a baseball adventure around the Big Apple.
Bronx Pride is on the line.
Hexlad presents Bronx Buds, premiering Saturday, August 17th, exclusively on the Yes app. Brought to you by Hexlad.
Mwah. Magnifico.
Hey there. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today is a big day because this is the first day that we are simulcasted on the radio on 98.7 and on 1050 AM. And if you just got out of work and you're getting in your car, we want to explain that we want you to get into the habit of presetting 1050 AM on your radio, because at the end of this month, we are going to be exclusively on 1050.
And
when you turn to 98.7, you are not going to hear us. So it's going to be the Michael K. Show and all the shows you know and love. They will be on 1050 starting at the end of this month, August 26th. So we're just getting into the habit right now. Now you could either listen to it on 1050 or the ESPN app. And in our case, you could watch on the Yes Network as well. But that's the situation. Today is the first day that we're simulcasting on both frequencies. And we want you to get into the habit of listening to us on 1050. And as I mentioned at the start, if you have an electric car, and there are plenty of people out there with electric cars, my wife has one, and it doesn't have AM radio. So if that is in fact the case and you enjoy the shows on this station, and you have an electric car that does not carry AM radio because of all the batteries, I think it hurts and interferes with their reception, then you got to get the app. Everybody has a phone, right? You got to get the app and you hear it crystal clear. So we want you to get into the habit of doing that. Wanted to tell you right at the start of the 5 o'clock hour. It's important. It's imperative.
It's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do for the country and for the people you love.
We're so divided as a nation right now, Michael. And I think there are two things that could really bring us back. Simone Biles, and everyone downloading the ESPN New York app and setting their preset to 1050.
There you go. And why Simone Biles? I'm curious.
Well, because everyone roots for Simone Biles.
But why? Did she do anything special today?
Listen, I'm just saying during this Olympics, she does a lot of things.
So now you work for NBC and Peacock because you don't want to give away what Simone Biles did this afternoon.
Listen.
Winning an overall gold for overall gymnastics.
See, this is the kind of guy you are. This is who you are.
I'm an information giver.
Yeah. No, you're a spoiler and a bad guy.
If you're listening to a sports radio show, you have to realize that you are going to hear sports news. If you don't want to find out what's happening in the Olympics, then you shouldn't be listening to sports talk radio. Listen to politics, and they'll probably say it on those stations too.
Because it is big news.
It's huge news, huge.
I believe at last check, it was the front page of the newspapers that I looked at. Oh, no. No, it's something else.
Well, the hostage exchange.
No, it's not that.
Oh, really?
No. It's something. No, it's not that.
All right. Both the Yankees and the Mets are off today. The Yankees coming off a phenomenal.
The front page of the New York Post is about the boxing thing.
Has had a phenomenal, just came off a phenomenal road trip. That really makes people that were panicking literally a week ago, they can't be panicking anymore, right? And I don't even blame people for panicking. When a team goes 11-24 over 35 games, that's a legitimate length of time. That's about a quarter of a season, just a little under. And that gives you a lot of reasons to worry. And to just sit back and not worry, then, I don't even know what you're thinking. But to take 2 out of 3 at Fenway after losing a heartbreaking game on Friday and then sweeping the Phillies, you got to feel better. Yankee fans, you have to feel a little better today. A little better. Now, the Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Twins, and they had split 4 games with Atlanta. The losing the 2 games against Atlanta really worried me, and I said at the time that it worried me on Monday. Those are not good losses. Not that there's any good losses, but you got to beat up on a bad Atlanta team that's just beaten up physically. And you took the first 2 games; it was right there. Just take one of the next 2, but they didn't have the pitching to do that. So now they go on a road trip. They play 3 games in Anaheim starting tomorrow. Then, because of a rainout that had to be made up, they have to fly to St. Louis to play 1 game against the Cardinals. Then they go from St. Louis to Colorado in Denver, and they play 3 games against the Rockies. And then they go from Colorado, they go and take all the way to the top left-hand part of our country and play 3 games against a pretty good Seattle team that's battling to win the American League West. 10 tough games, tough road trip, tough travel, not a day off. And we said earlier, they go 6-4, you sign up for that right now. They go 5-5, you're not thrilled, but it didn't kill you. And you took 10 tough games off the schedule. Anything less than 5-5, you got to be a little concerned because it's going to be a dogfight for the wild cards in the National League. Padres made big moves during the deadline, big moves. So let's say that they get one of those wild cards. Then Atlanta, I think Atlanta's going to hold on for one of the wild cards. Now, who's going to get the third? Is it going to be the Diamondbacks? Diamondbacks are pretty good, and they're getting some injured pitchers back. Is it going to be the Mets? Is it going to be the Cardinals? Pirates are sniffing around too. But when the music stops, there are going to be a lot of teams that are good that will not have a seat of musical chairs. So what do the Mets have to do in order to at least keep themselves relevant at the end of this 10 games? And as a caller said previously, at the end of this 10-game road trip, they come home and they play tough series. So the Mets had a nice, easy stretch for about a month and a half. And you know what they did? They did what good teams do. They got fat. Now, you got to continue to eat, even against the good teams. Now, they're not facing great teams on this road trip. They're facing a good team in Seattle and a good team in St. Louis. But you should be able to beat up on the Rockies and beat up on Anaheim. Let's see what they do. I think that the fact that you're on the West Coast and the travel is untenable, that's going to set you back a little bit, maybe not able to beat them up the way you should. We'll see. And the Yankees, they start a stretch right now where they play teams that they should beat up on. I believe in the month of August, only 2 series that they play are against teams over 500. So the Yankees played a stretch where they played a lot of good teams, and they lost to mostly all of them until the Phillies and the Red Sox. Have they turned the corner? We shall see. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Jack in Detroit. Jack.
Hey, long-time listener.
Thanks.
I was kind of surprised about like what Cashman said yesterday about like you were asking if there's sort of any pressure with Soto maybe not being there next year, and it really sounded like to him like though they had DJ even Aaron Judge, who knows, maybe there's no pressure for him during Aaron Judge's prime because they'll have the next star.
Well, the thing that he said in the answer, Jack, that you're alluding to, for those that didn't hear I guess you get on a podcast. He said, I said, did you feel any more pressure because this might be the only year you have Soto? He said, we feel pressure all the time. When DJ LeMahieu was a top 5 MVP guy, we felt pressure then. I thought that was a little bit of a strange answer, a little disingenuous. You traded a lot to get Soto, and Soto is a generational player, and you're only guaranteed to have him this 1 year. So I thought that there should be a lot of urgency, and I think that there was. I just don't think that anybody great was traded. The best pitcher to me that was traded was Jack Flaherty. And do you think that was a seismic change? It looks like they changed the way their lineup looks by getting Jazz Chisholm. They gave up a pretty good catcher in Agustin Ramirez. A lot of people think he's going to be a good catcher. They gave up one of their top 10 prospects. And then they did the margin stuff with Enyel De Los Santos and Mark Leiter Jr. So I said this earlier, of the 70 people on the All-Star teams, only 2 were traded. Only 2. So there weren't that great player that was traded. Blake Snell wasn't traded. Tarek Skubal wasn't traded. Guys that really are difference makers, they weren't traded. So if you look at all the people that were traded, you'd have to say, well, Jazz Chisholm Jr., I mean, isn't that about the same as Randy Arozarena? That was a good pickup for Seattle. Chisholm might be a good pickup for the Yankees. We shall see.
I mean, it's not going to stay like this, but it could still be a great pickup.
Yeah, if it stays like this, it's going to be a great pickup.
I mean, if it stays like this, there's a new best player in baseball.
Right. Let's go to Fran in Massapequa. Fran.
Hey, Fran.
What's up, guys? Mike, just wanted to thank you for the words of wisdom. Last call really helped. Listen, the Mets and the Bears I want to talk about. You're 100% right about the Mets. They did what they had to do to get to where they are now, and now they're going to have to beat the bad teams, and that's what it's going to come down to. Hold your own against the good teams. You have to beat up on the bad teams. I wanted to talk just a dab about football. I'm a diehard Bears fan, but nobody's playing tonight, so the game doesn't mean nothing. And just really quick, diehard Met fan, and I love the home runs. And I just got to say, as a Met fan, and this guy Aaron Judge is scary. He is so good, man. I mean, it is. He just looks effortless at the plate. It's like a professional artist painting. When you see a guy, stroke or a lady painting, and he's just. It's scary how good this guy is.
Fran, I'm glad that you appreciate what you're seeing, because I don't know, and we thank you for the call. A lot of people might not. I believe that 50 years from now, people will talk about Aaron Judge and go, wow, did you see Aaron Judge play? He's doing things that only Babe Ruth has done. That's how good it's been. Fran just brought this up, Peter. There is a football game tonight, the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, if you can call it that.
And I bet you it gets a nice rating. Now it's going to go up against the Olympics. But I really, truly believe that if you bet on the Hall of Fame game, you might have an issue.
Oh, yeah.
Although our good friend, Incarcerated Bob, I saw him mention this, it's also, if you know football at all, this could be easy money, too. If you know, if you really know teams and who they're going to be playing and how long they're going to play, and you could actually make some money. But betting in the Hall of Fame game where no one is playing, I mean, it might be time to look within yourself. And I bet you a lot of people bet this game.
Oh, it'll get a huge. So many people are so hungry to bet again that they will be on it. But yeah, these preseason games are just a joke. And I know you and I sort of disagree. You don't really see any point to risking anyone. To me, it's just, what are we doing, man? If you're going to do it, if you're going to have a preseason, there should be, some people should be playing. That should be the point of it, right?
You would think. Houston is a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 32.5. So go at it. What do you think?
I'm good.
I'm taking Houston, giving it 2.5.
Look at you. Well, you know what happens when Houston and Chicago
you throw the records out.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the all-time rivalries in the history of the game.
I guess C.J. Stroud's not going to play at all, right?
No, definitely not.
I wonder if Caleb Williams will play.
People are saying no.
No.
They're saying no at all, which is also weird to me.
Now, I'm not going to be
play
watching
a rookie
tonight. I am not. Because we have Jody and I have a date night. We're going to go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow. Yeah. I did not fancy you guys to be the Deadpool.
Well, she and I are both Ryan Reynolds fans. And he is. I like the first Deadpool. I didn't watch the second. And I think it'll be enjoyable. It's gotten great reviews. I like to surprise you, Peter.
What did you say?
I like to surprise you.
You do. You surprise me on the reg.
Let's go to Mark in Dix Hills. Mark.
Peter, this is for you. You kind of alluded to this. The Post had an article about fighters, right? So a biological man knocks out a biological woman. Your answer, is that good or bad? Just your answer. And I got something on the Yankees, too. What do you think?
My answer is, it doesn't appear that this woman is a trans woman. She is a person. Hold on, but you have to be clear. That's not what's happening here, though. And it's being used right now as a way for us all to fight about an issue, when today that's not the issue. Everyone's saying she's from Algeria. It's illegal to be trans. It's just a testosterone number that spiked.
But in answer to your question, I don't think it should be a man fighting a woman.
No,
I think most people agree with that.
Come on, Peter.
No, Peter agrees too. Peter said the same thing.
Hold on, but you have to hear. You have to. No. You have to hear what I said, though. I said I agree with you, but I'm just saying, also do the work and read the article. This was not a trans woman fighting, so I'm just asking you to do the work.
This is a woman.
I agree.
With supposedly a lot. There's a disorder, and she has a lot of testosterone, but she's not a man.
That is a different thing. Just so you know.
All right. What was your Yankee point?
So the Yankee point to you, Michael, and you say that us Yankee fans always are expecting this and expecting that. Here's the deal. We got Mickey Mantle. We got Babe Ruth. We got so many guys that we are so proud of. Joe DiMaggio. We got the guy that said, "This is the greatest life I've ever had," and I'm so proud of it.
Something close.
So you know
right.
what? When we come up and say that we cry or we don't cry, you know what? We are so proud of this team. I don't think any Yankee fan, and Michael, we're proud of you. We love you. You're a great announcer. You're a great support for our team. We are so proud of this team. I think we have the right to cry up and down, but really the bottom line is we're gloating. Do you get what I'm saying? We're gloating. We're so damn good, we're gloating. We got such a great history. We are the best team ever in baseball.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark. They certainly have the greatest brand in baseball, one of the greatest brands in sports history, if not the best. And I don't begrudge people for being upset. I think sometimes their anger is probably misplaced at certain areas, but they have the right to be upset if the team doesn't win a World Series. They've been sold the fact World Series are bust. My point is, I keep making it over and over again, what the team or the organization has to do is change that messaging. It's dangerous messaging. You could have a successful season without hoisting the trophy. You could have a really good season that's entertaining and fun and great moments. And if you don't win the World Series, well, you know, that's unfortunate and you could be disappointed, but it doesn't mean it's a failure. But when you market it as World Series or bust, then the fans have every right to say when you don't make a World Series in 15 years that you failed. I just think the messaging has to change because the game has changed. The ability to get to the World Series, the road to the World Series has changed.
Well, you know what? I'm gutless. Because I thought about just straight up asking him yesterday, should you change the mantra for this team?
I don't think that they would ever admit it publicly, but I think they understand how realistic or unrealistic that mantra is. They have to. Since the Yankees did it in 8, 9, and 2000, nobody's won 2 in a row. It's impossible to win a World Series. And to send out a message, World Series or bust, you're setting yourself up to be derided and to be ripped apart and looked at as failures. They're not failures. They put a team on the field every single year that has a chance to win a World Series. Not a lot of teams could say that. Let's look at the American League East. The Orioles have not put a team on the field every single year for the last 10 years that can win a World Series. The Blue Jays haven't. The Red Sox have finished last 2 years in a row. They've won a lot of championships, so they have a lot to be proud of. And I think that the Tampa Bay Rays have a lot to be proud of just to compete with that payroll. I really, truly believe that. But you look up and down the 30 teams in baseball, every year they don't have a chance to win a World Series. Now, last year the Yankees didn't make the playoffs. To me, that's a failed year, especially with the resources they have and the money they spent. That's a failed year. And you know what? They admit that's a failed year. But when they went to the 7th game of the ALCS and they didn't go to the World Series, that's not a failure. When they went to the 6th game of the ALCS and they didn't get to the World Series, it's not a failure. It's a disappointment. It's not a failure. But I'm not blaming fans for thinking it is because that's what they're told. Fernando in Chicago.
It's first time. Thanks for taking my call. And Mike, quick question for you. If we don't sign Soto, do we have a plan B from, let's say you put on the GM hat and you have a plan B, who will be a power hitter to back up Judge so that way he's not the only one in there? Because I kind of like the left and righty lineup the way it is now. And since Stan's come back, believe it or not, it's kind of stabilized the lineup, believe it or not. I know not many people think of Stan as a big deal now, but he's really, to me, stabilizes the lineup because of the left and right. And plus, he has power. He's feast or famine. We know that. But, you know, I think he stabilized the lineup, and we have a lot. Now we look like the team in the beginning of the year. The other question I have for you is also, do you think if Cole has a great second half and goes deep into the playoffs, will he opt out of his contract this year? Thanks for your answer.
I've thought about. Thank you, Fernando. I think that's fascinating. I've gone back and forth, and I will tell you this: even if he doesn't have a great second half, as long as he's not hurt, let me even amend that. Even if he's hurt, I believe he will opt out. And the Yankees could override the opt-out by giving him an extra year at $36 million. So I think a lot of things would have to go haywire for them not to do that. So his agent is Scott Boras. They put that in there for a reason. If he opts out, doesn't mean he wants to leave. If he opts out following a really bad year where he was hurt for half the year, I still think the Yankees give him that extra year. Because he's been a true great representative for the Yankees. He's won the Cy Young. This year, injuries have derailed him. But the thing that you have to worry about is if what bothered him in the first half of the season was never, quote-unquote, resolved, and then it becomes an issue next year as well, what do you do? I still think he's so important to what they do, both in the room and to the other players, that they probably give him that 10th year. So he's at 9 years right now at $36 million a year. All they have to do to override the opt-out is to give him one more year. I mean, that's 5 years from now, $36 million. That might be worth what? And since he signed the deal, you've got guys like Scherzer and Verlander making $43.5 million a year. So, yeah, I think no matter what, he'll opt out, and I think that they will give him the 10th year. I could be wrong. Hey, August 16th to the 18th, experience the thrill of Fanatics Fest NYC at the Javits Center. It's the first event of its kind, gathering over 100 sports legends and icons in one place. You can meet Tom Brady, the Manning brothers, that's Eli and Peyton, Kevin Durant,
I've heard of both.
WNBA superstar Sabrina Ionescu, and morning show and afternoon drive superstar Peter Rosenberg. Don't miss their special Knicks panel with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and their biggest celebrity fans. You could also watch legends like Derek Jeter and David Ortiz renew their iconic rivalry and get up close with interactive sports challenges like the 40-yard dash, home run derby, and UFC striking challenge. Explore the biggest trading card show NYC has seen this century, featuring exclusive Topps drops and a stage dedicated to collecting. Now, whether you're a novice or a seasoned collector, there's just something for everyone. Tickets start at just $50 a day. Visit fanaticsfest.com to secure your spot and check out the full lineup. Fanatics Fest NYC isn't just an event. It's the future of sports fandom. Be part of sports history. Fanatics Fest NYC, the first ever immersive sports fan festival. We'll come back with more of your phone calls, talk more about the Hall of Fame game as well. It's Kay, Rosenberg, and you on Yes and ESPN Radio.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters.
Hi, I'm Greg. I live in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. Some people say, why should I take Prevagen? I don't have a problem with my memory. Memory loss is not something that occurs overnight. I started noticing subtle lapses in memory. I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. It's helped my memory. It's helped my cognitive qualities. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Everybody wants super straight, super white teeth. They want that Hollywood white smile. New Sensodyne Clinical White provides 2 shades. It's whiter teeth and 24/7 sensitivity protection. I think it's a great product. It's going to help a lot of patients.
I'm glad that we do this every single year here in Hawthorne. It's a Hawthorne event, but I'm talking to people who come from Long Island and Westchester and Suffolk County, so I really appreciate everybody coming out today. Throw it right to me, come on.
We're here because this is the only event we have every year to raise funds for the Mark Sasso Memorial Scholarship Foundation. And we raise funds to give scholarships to Hawthorne kids graduating high school, going on to college. This event started in 2008, and initially it was born to help pay for a playground at St. Anthony's School, and once we achieved that goal, we in part because of Don, continued on, and I formed the Scholarship Foundation, and here we are, 16 years later, helping a lot of kids.
It's such an awesome event here in beautiful Hawthorne, New Jersey. Here for Don LaGreca, here for the charity of Mark Sasso and the memory of Mark Sasso. It's a fantastic event. Wish Michael and Peter were here. I know Michael's in Boston. Peter's only a town away. He really should be here. But it's great. It's great to be able to be out here, and I'm happy that I was able to make it out.
It's really special to be participating here. I'm Jersey born and raised, so I'm from this area. I feel like it's just very important to the community. It's super important to Don LaGreca. It's a blast, and I'm just glad I could be a part of it.
I always love coming out here once a year. It's my favorite day of the year. My brother's been doing this now for 16, almost 17 years. It's a pleasure to be a part of it. Get to see so many friends in the industry. I mean, this year we got Tommy Dreamer representing pro wrestling.
We're all using our platforms, our celebrity for what? To help raise awareness, to help raise money.
2024 Mark Sasso softball is in the books. This was tremendous. The day was beautiful. We actually won. So many people came out. It was so great. It's amazing to be able to do this every single year. It gets bigger and better every year. And the most important thing, everybody walked away. Nobody got hurt. But I can't answer for what's going to happen tomorrow. But still, we feel really good about it. So can't wait for next year.
So there's a lot of news coming fast and furious. Mike Trout is out for the remainder of the year. Another meniscus tear in his knee, which he had repaired. I don't know if we're ever going to see Mike Trout again. Not that he won't play, but we're never going to see the greatness that was Mike Trout. The body just is betraying him. Everything.
That's sad, man.
It's really awful. Also, this will affect you, Peter. Punky Johnson not coming back to SNL. After 4 years.
No.
Yeah.
Please tell me it's not
that's so.
What the F?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And then today, we find out Tariq Cohen, who's been besieged by injuries the last couple of years, signed with the Jets because they thought he'd be really good with the new kickoff rules. He decided to retire at the age of 29. Interestingly, he retires a day after saying this.
At first, it was very difficult. I let myself get fat, but I feel like it got real easy once I saw a picture of myself. And then I really just turned it on without even the intention of coming back to the NFL. I just started grinding, and then my body started to feel way better, and I started making that decision to come back into the NFL. I got to like 207, 208, saw a little rolls on the side. I was in the pool, my friend had took a picture, and he sent me the picture, and I almost threw my phone against the wall. This is after the second injury. Right now, we're like 191, 190.
Doesn't sound like a guy that was considering retirement, right, Peter?
No. I mean, listen, maybe in that case, he's just talking more about getting into shape.
Yeah, but what I don't get, I mean, you work really hard just to get to training camp. I mean, listen, I can't question it. You retire when you want to retire. But to put in the work, but maybe he just wanted to put in the work to get in shape anyway, and then he just walks away.
Well, maybe, Michael, it's as much as like you're in shape, you look the part, but then you get out there and you start playing and you're like, I can't do this.
Right.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Like you're just seeing the speed of the young guys and you're like, I can't do this. Like, that's the kind of game football is. It's so vicious. It's so fast. It's so unrelenting. If you've lost anything, you're putting yourself in danger. But his story was always really sad to me, man. Like, he was so talented at first and he just like couldn't catch a break.
Yeah, you hate to see stuff like that, but that's obviously what happened with him. Now, on the Giants side, stories out today that Brian Dable really looks like he's enjoying calling the offensive plays again. And so that really changes Mike Kafka's job. And he was asked, what's your role as offensive coordinator if you're not calling plays?
During the week, I'm helping Dave's put together the offense, talking about the schemes, talking about the players, talking about our roster and what that looks like on the offensive side of the football. At the practice field, I'm helping complement the coaches and help coach and orchestrate how we're going to operate on offense as far as practice flow, organizing drills, and how we're going to do those things. So, again, it's an open communication, and it's things that, sure, it passes through me to Dave's, and we talk about what Dave's, how he wants to run it, and then we go back and execute it for him.
Now, he was also asked, how does not calling plays help your development as a coach?
I think it's your approach. I'm going to take it as a learning approach, learn as much as I can from the people around me, and then contribute as best I can, whether I am calling plays or I'm not, like whatever that situation looks like. I'm going to do my best to help the team win.
I tell you what, it takes a special person to do this because he called the plays last year. And then, Dable, who was a great play caller, he was with, Buffalo, he decides he's going to do it. I know there's only 32 of these jobs, Peter, but there'd be a part of me that going, yeah, I'm good, I'm out.
I hear you.
Because that's tough, man. If you're the offensive coordinator and you're not calling the plays, are you really the offensive coordinator?
Right. I mean, don't you come there to do that job? And by the way, it sets you up. If the next job is supposed to be head coach, you're not getting the reps to be able to become a head coach because it'll be like Eric Bieniemy.
Right. I was just going to say, you can't say that Andy Reid calling the plays all those years helped Eric Bieniemy. It didn't.
No.
There's no way it can. So if you aspire to be a head coach and you have that very big part of the role taken away, I don't know what to tell you.
It's kind of the job.
Yeah. It is kind of the job. But I guess you have to implement stuff during the week, but that is the heavy lifting of the job, and it was taken away from you. And now you have to question, did they take it away from me because I'm not good? Or is Dable so good at it that he just thinks that there's nobody better than him? 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Chase in Illinois. Chase.
Hey guys, I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't understand why everybody's calling up so curmudgeon-y. Well, Cashman didn't get this. Cashman didn't get that. I understand. He didn't get everything we wanted. We needed a little bit more bullpen help. But you know what he did provide? Judge protection in the lineup. He provided Leiter lands that night, pitches in extra innings, and pitches with some marbles. Gets us out of the jam. Tonkin's looking good. We swept the Phillies, the best team in the league, and people are calling up, talking about contract, talking about, we have to dump salary. I don't understand what's going on.
Well,
we've won 5 straight. We're turning around. It's going to be a great race in August.
I think, Chase, it comes down to, and we said this earlier, those that complain or unhappy about things are louder than those that are happy about things. So rather than, revel in the 5 straight wins and the fact that you have a relatively easy schedule coming up, you just look at things that could go wrong or things that have gone wrong I mean, until the Yankees win another championship, Brian is always going to be in the crosshairs of Yankee fans. He just is. People don't want to hear, they finish over 500. Every year they have a chance to win a World Series. They're built that way. They don't want to hear it. They want to say, well, where's the trophy? And as long as they don't win the trophy, Brian's going to be public enemy number 1, 2, and 3. It just is. Is it fair? Again, I keep coming back to, if an organization continues to sell championship or bust when you don't win a championship, then fans think that there should be some sacrifice. There should be a ramification. That's why Brian comes under the heat that he does. And I truly believe, we've been talking about this a lot, Peter. I don't believe the messaging will ever change, because I think the messaging is part of the Yankee lore. They're not satisfied until they win a World Series, or unless they win a World Series. So if they all of a sudden come out and go, hey, as long as we give you a team that has a chance to win a World Series every year, we're doing our job, then people will say, well, then that's not really the Yankees anymore. So I think the messaging will always be the same. I just think that messaging doesn't work in this day and age of baseball. It just doesn't. You're setting yourself up to take incoming all the time. Jack in Medina, New York. Jack.
Hi, Michael. How you doing?
Good.
Love the show.
Thank you.
Got a question for you. It kind of touches on analytics, maybe. I don't know. I agree with, the best hitters. Yeah, put them in early in the lineup. I live between Rochester and Buffalo. See a lot of AAA games. Scranton was in town a couple weeks ago. This has gone on for 2 or 3 years. Less than 2 outs. Guy on second. Third baseman gets the ball hit directly at him. The guy takes off runs himself out of an inning. Easy tag, he's out by 20 feet. I'm looking in the dugout. I love Shelley Duncan. The third base coach, the runner, everybody goes into the dugout. Not a word is said. Now, on a team that's not that athletic compared to other teams, and the word was we were going to crack down on fundamentals this year, I just don't see it. I see this happening all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a fundamental mistake, Jack. I think that they're probably running on contact. So if the ball's hit to the third baseman, you're running on contact, you're going to get thrown out at home plate. So it's not a point that you're going to get disciplined or yelled at. That's their plan. They want to run on contact.
No, the runner was on second. The third baseman was playing right next to the bag.
Right.
The ball was hit to him. The guy coming from second to third, he's out by 20 feet. I mean, surely he can see that and not run on contact. That's a sure out.
Well, I understand you don't run on contact from second. I misunderstood what you said. But, Jack, I mean, what do you want them to stay? So it's screaming at the guys in the dugout? I mean, they're in a development stage. They probably talk to them afterward. It's funny what fans want. They want to see that pound of flesh right there in front of their eyes. Shelley Duncan is trying to build confidence as a AAA manager. Not going to yell at a guy in the dugout for you to see. The guy made a mistake. It's going to be addressed that night or the next day. It's the way it works. That's the way it works in the big leagues, too. Players don't get yelled at anymore. They just don't. Stop it. You're not going to get that pound of flesh that you crave. Dove and Passaic. Dove.
Oh, hey, Dove.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
How are you?
I am listening on the ESPN app.
Wonderful.
And I have to tell you, I absolutely love it.
Good.
Now, I'm not sure how my fellow Yankee fans can complain. We have two almost for sure Hall of Fame players in Judge and Soto, right? They added very good pieces in Chisholm. Stan is back. Dominguez is coming back. And they added 2 arms in the bullpen. I mean, there are 30 other teams that are competing. I mean, what do they expect? I don't understand my fellow Yankee fans. What are they expecting? This is a very good team that has a chance to go very far in the playoffs. What more could you ask for?
Well, I think that what they asked for, Dove, and we thank you for the phone call and thank you for downloading the app and using it, is they want perfection. They have been spoiled by 1998. That was a perfect team. They never looked back. They pretty much clinched in July, and they won 114 games and lost just 50. They want perfection. They don't want the possibility that they could lose. I get it. That's what they want. That's what the complaints are about. So they expected the Yankees to go out and get a difference maker. Now, you could say that Chisholm's a difference maker. They wanted more. They wanted Blake Snell. They wanted Tarek Skubal. That's what they want. I mean, you know what they're complaining about. They want every single thing to be a sure thing. They don't want to have to risk something that might be a toss-up. Because letting DJ LeMahieu play and try to work out of it is not a sure thing. It's kind of a crapshoot. Letting Gleyber Torres remain at second base when he's made 14 errors, not a sure thing. They want a sure thing. I guess I understand their complaints, but it's not realistic. There's no perfect team. The Dodgers aren't a perfect team. Look at all the moves the Dodgers had to make, and the Dodgers have payroll over $300 million, and they are not close to being a sure thing. They might even end up losing their lead to the Padres over the Padres are playing. Let's go to Drake in Poughkeepsie.
Hey, guys, wanted to chime in on the quarterback tables discussion. Right. I love the kids' table with many, many French fries and wanted to maybe try to compare the incoming rookies to rookies like we saw last year. Perhaps Jaden Daniels, kind of a C.J. Stroud prototype, and Caleb Williams, maybe Anthony Richardson type of vibes. So I want to get your thoughts on that. But besides that, I wanted to thank Peter for the shout-out on the morning show today.
You heard that.
My love to the Gurus.
I appreciate you.
After the little talk yesterday, and I shot you a food recommendation too, Peter, on Instagram for Cleveland. Even though I'm from Poughkeepsie, I actually live in Ohio these days.
Really?
And there's a great restaurant / brew pub right close to the stadium called Noble Beast Brewing Company. Check them out. I think you really dig it.
Wow,
and,
thank you.
Yeah, can't wait to hear what you guys think of the QB rookie talk here. Cheers, guys.
Wow.
I'll tell you this. First of all, I appreciate you. Great guy.
Is that Drake the artist?
I do not think so. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think so. But I do think that if Jaden Daniels is CJ, I'll tell you that much right now.
Be thrilled.
I mean, the only difference would be, Michael, Jaden Daniels definitely coming in with more expectations than CJ was. Jaden is expected to immediately be that guy. I don't know that people expected CJ to be that good that fast.
No. Hey, I've got some exciting news. You know, one of our favorites, Maria Marino, is going to be on with Jake Asman tomorrow in the morning from 6 to 10.
Yay! Hey, now.
Yeah.
An Asman and Marino vehicle.
Yeah. How about that?
Wow. I'm a big fan.
You don't like Asman, but you like Marino, right?
Oh, well, that's not true. Of course I like Asman.
I didn't know. I sounded like I didn't know what you were a big fan of. I'm just trying to clarify.
No, listen, I'm a big fan of both. I've known... Well, I can't say I've known Marino longer because we knew Asman before we knew him to be.
Yeah, while he was still a young pup.
When he was just running around Radio Row. But yeah, that's going to be tremendous tomorrow morning. I mean, I won't be able to hear it
because you'll be on the air on Hot 97.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then making my way out to Cleveland Town, everyone.
Oh, you're going to love it there. Sometimes the lake catches fire.
I heard that. They lead the nation in drifters.
No, I didn't know that. Grifters, not drifters.
And is it drifters or grifters?
I think it's grifters.
Yeah, that's right. Under construction since 1868. Now, question for you. Should I attempt to go see the Baltimore Orioles in Cleveland tomorrow night?
It's a great stadium. I think you would enjoy it. It's two really good teams in first place. I would do it. Have you been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No.
You should do that.
I don't know if I'm going to have time for that, though.
Oh, you should.
I thought about asking for tomorrow off the show because I know how much you enjoy a K.
I really do love being K alone.
And just saying, let me just get the day in Cleveland. I got to get there in the morning.
Right.
I'm hosting an event with Damian Priest. I'm becoming like Damian Priest's Howard Cosell. Because we have an interview that's airing during the Countdown show on Saturday on Peacock that we did at the stadium. Me and Damian Priest went to the Bronx. They let us. They were awesome. We hung out at Yankee Stadium. And then I have an event live with him and Rhea Ripley tomorrow when I get to Cleveland. But then I'm going to hustle back to do our Fakakta show because if not, I might have went and explored the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You might have gone and explored.
What did I say?
You might have went.
You know what? I'd say I'm better than that, but I'm not.
You're not. We'll come back because we are better than this right here on Yes and ESPN Radio.
spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
Chevy lets you begin every day fully charged, so you can go farther. And so can your money. Tow with confidence. Plus, stay connected with available OnStar technology. For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Get $5,750 total value on this Silverado LT when you trade in an eligible vehicle. That's 10% below MSRP. See your local Chevy dealer.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Our incredible same-game parlay gets even better when you add Profit Boost. You can still combine all of your favorite selections to increase your potential winnings, but now we're giving you the option to boost your profit up to an extra 30%. Look out for a Profit Boost on select games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Pass the ketchup?
No.
Dad? Are you okay?
Yeah, just stressed out.
Oh, and the melody is sounding so much better. I can play it for you. Wait, where's your guitar?
I gave it to your cousin.
What? That guitar's like your favorite thing.
I don't need it anymore. Some days are just better than others.
I think you should go talk to someone.
It's not that easy.
Have you been thinking about suicide? You can talk to me, Dad.
Not every decision you make will be as good as getting a Volkswagen at the Savvy VW Summer Sales Event. 2024 Volkswagen models cost less to maintain than Honda. Get 0.9% APR financing or a $3,500 customer bonus on the new 2024 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Popeyes has the best of both wings. Our juicy chicken is marinated to perfection with 2 distinct twists on all 6 flavors. Whether you prefer our spicy bone-in wings or our classic tender white meat boneless wings, we've got the best of both.
At Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, being the Northeast's best cancer center means being the best for you. Pairing the most advanced treatments with the most compassionate treatment. It takes looking at every cancer from every angle. And a care team that looks out for you and everyone you care for. It takes MSK.
New season, new reasons to say yes. Wow! Yes to the ultimate viewing experience.
Aaron Judge crushes one.
The Yes app. Download now.
Yankee streaming is brought to you by your Tri-State Audi dealers.
It's amazing to think that my grandmother started Bigelow Tea right here in New York. And today, we're still a family company. And you have to remember, tea, that's all we do. So every cup counts. That means never compromising. My family won't let that happen. And our extended family, they give their all every single day. And our community, well, they expect that.
I want a cup of Bigelow tea to be a moment just for you. That's what I hope for.
The mood can strike at any time. And with Cialis Daily, you're always ready to perform. Medication is prescribed online and delivered discreetly to you. Get a 3-month trial pack at TryRexMD.com.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Chris Aaron back here for the Michael K. Show. This look at tomorrow's scheduled starters is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Marcus Stroman spins it for the Bombers. He is averaging less than 5 innings per start, with an ERA just north of 5.5 over his last 7 trips to the mound. However, he started 3 times against the Jays this season with great results against his former club. He doesn't have a decision, but he's pitching to a sub-3 ERA. The last time the Bombers bat saw Kevin Gausman, they put up a touchdown and an extra point worth of earned runs onto his ERA. Tomorrow night's game opens up the Yankees' longest homestand of the season, a 9-game, 11-day stay in the Bronx. Our coverage tomorrow, on the anniversary of Thurman Munson's passing, by the way, begins with the batting practice show at 6, followed by the pregame, and first pitch is scheduled for a little after 7. It's the Yankees and the Blue Jays tomorrow night. Coverage starting at 6 with BPTV right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
Well deserved.
That? It was pretty good.
So what exactly is the situation now after 4 days?
Fight it.
What's the situation after 4 days?
When he's right, he's right.
Hello?
You're really reveling in this, Michael.
What is the situation?
He's just taking it in. No, I think I can hear him right now.
I don't know why.
Taking a swig of some champagne, sloshing it around down his gullet, and now tomorrow we have a rubber match.
Hello.
Oh, it's going to be tough, man. That is high pressure. All right, I'm going to do the best I can. Big ENN around the corner, by the way. Let's take a couple more phone calls, shall we? Go to the phone lines and see what we have. Anthony, why don't you pick someone good for me as my Zoom is slowly... Oh, no, I got it. How about we go with Dante in White Plains? Hey, Dante.
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, man.
Before I get to my bullpen point with the Yankees, I'd like to push back a little bit on something Michael said earlier about Torres being a good defender. I mean, if you lack concentration and you lead the league in errors in your position, kind of makes a bad defender. But I get it. He's here. We're going to start him. That's fine. But late in the game, especially if it's a postseason, Holmes on the mound, I don't want him anywhere near the infield. DJ's a plus defender. He's there. You tighten that up. I think it's a no-brainer. As far as the bullpen, I was a little surprised they didn't bring in a high-leverage lefty. I mean, they only have one guy there now, and he's kind of at the bottom of the pecking order, and all the guys coming back are right-handed. So I'm wondering, would they actually go into the postseason without a lefty? I mean, they don't have a Graham Lloyd or a Mike Stanton to come in and get out a Gunnar Henderson or a Yordan Alvarez. Or, if they go further, a Harper and Ohtani. That could come back to haunt them.
That's an interesting point, Dante. And I think at this point, though, their future is probably sewn up in that regard. That's probably too rich a problem for them to even have at this point. I don't know. What do you think, Anthony? Would you expect a lefty? Would you expect them to be able to get a new lefty arm? Where are they?
Well, no. I mean, look, unless they get it off waivers, and I don't think that a valuable left-handed arm is going to come off of waivers. This is kind of the bullpen that you're going to have, and as Brian pointed out yesterday, you get a lot of guys coming back, none of them being lefties, but Ian Hamilton's going to factor into this bullpen. I think they're comfortable with the arms that they have and the arms that they're going to get back.
Well, they're certainly, and if nothing else, they're going to tell us that they're comfortable.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to say we're in trouble.
Let's go to you know what? It's 5:55, and it's the perfect time for some Dick in Manhattan. Hey, Dick.
Hi, Peter. You know what would be a great Olympic story?
What?
If Tiffany Rodman leads the United States women to the gold medal.
You know what? That's an interesting story I hadn't even thought about as one of the storylines there.
She's the best player right now on the team. She scored or assisted on all 8 goals. So that's something to look at.
And they're obviously doing what they do, which is a win-win-win. Richard, were you dialed in to Simone Biles today?
No, I was working. In the gym, I saw a little bit. You know what's boring? The most boring thing, and they gave it a lot of time. I mean, it's okay to watch, but really boring is beach volleyball with 2 people. Oh, I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Bat ball hit. 1, 2, 3. It's the same thing. There are no long volleys. And they dive for the ball, but, it's very difficult in the sand. Everything is slow.
But some of the teams are lovely to look at, Richard. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, well, the bathing suits on the women are, yeah, I'll agree with you there. That's for sure. all right, Peter, as far as the game yesterday, the Yankee game,
yeah,
they had 45,000 in Philly, and the Mets only had 29,000 at Citi Field. Now, are the Yankees reimbursed or recompensated for any of that?
No, they certainly are not. Richard, they've been doing that. The Yankees have been drawing huge numbers in every city.
So there's no advantage to being the Yankees when they're on the road?
There's the advantage is you have lots of fans cheering for you. That's it.
Nothing else. I mean, they're bringing 45,000 on a Wednesday afternoon game, Peter. That's unbelievable.
Well, hold on. I mean, real quick, I don't think they brought 45,000. The Phillies are a very good team this year with fans. Yeah, I mean that wasn't. It wasn't like it's. Listen, back in the day. Thank you for the call, Richard. Back in the day, growing up, going to Orioles games, that was the pinnacle. And, you know, even in recent years, Michael, you go to an Orioles game when the Orioles are awful and there's still, 26,000 people at Camden Yards and they're all Yankee fans. That's one thing. But a crowd in Philly this week, it was going to be crowded no matter what. No. He wanted to know if there was a monetary advantage. Listen, sometimes it's troubling, Michael. Sometimes it's troubling.
The things it used to be that you could split stuff on the road. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore.
Now, did my question, Anthony, garner a response from Richard that we'll hear again after 6 o'clock?
I'm sure something happened on that call. I was a little preoccupied. I didn't get to hear all of it.
Jacob, you know what part I'm talking about? I asked Michael. I asked Richard about his thoughts on the bathing suits and the beach volleyball.
What did he say?
He had an opinion. You'll hear it. You'll hear it next.
Now, I lost connection for a moment. What is the score right now after 4 days?
Michael, it's deadlocked at 2 apiece.
So tomorrow is the whole deal. So you can't take tomorrow off now.
Yeah, now I have to be here to get the point guard.
And you have to really, really bring it.
That's the thing. I'm going to have to be high on that Cleveland energy, baby. I'll bring it.
I love it. All right, so we are going to have a scintillating ENN coming up in just a sec. So stay tuned for that right here on Yes, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
The Bronx. BX. Now streaming on the Yes Network.
2 words. Get here.
Go on an epic journey through the Bronx.
It's absolutely breathtaking.
Stream a new season of Bronx Beat, now on the Yes app.
It's Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the feeling you're watching a Hall of Famer right in the middle of his prime.
The captain is rolling.
They're going to need a longer tape measure.
A monster blast. See ya. Wow.
Hurry in to the Acura Summer of Performance event going on now.
Subway's offering 20% off any sub, any size. Woo! 20% off subs is fun to say. 20% off subs are fun to eat. You'll love 20% off subs. The point is, any sub, any size. 20% off at Subway.
Everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too.
That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
But do you have to wedge it into everything?
This reminds me of my bike. Look how the brushstrokes follow the line on the gas tank. I had no idea this was a motorcycle exhibit.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Ever been diagnosed with osteoarthritis or worried about the risks involved with knee surgery?
It hurt all the time, like the nerves were rubbing against each other.
I was at the point of either replace my knees because I'm tired of this pain.
Get the relief you need without surgery. We're Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, the premier leaders in non-surgical knee pain treatments. Instead of surgically replacing your knees, our state-of-the-art procedures replenish the depleted natural cushioning in your joints with an FDA-approved shock-absorbing gel, without surgery and without downtime.
After the first injection, I knew it was going to work.
We've successfully treated thousands of patients. Medicare and most private insurance cover this procedure.
Full motion, no pain, walking, everything just back normal like it used to be.
Locations in Garden City, Smithtown, and Wall, New Jersey. Call 1-800-834-5911 for a no-charge, no-obligation knee pain assessment, or go to arthritis-kneepain.com.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters.
Here comes the heat!
Say hello to the Bronx Buds, Yes's first ever animated series for the whole family.
And the crowd goes wild!
Starting August 17th, join Riv, Bash, Oscar, and the rest of their gang for a baseball adventure around the Big Apple.
Bronx Pride is on the line.
Hexclad presents Bronx Buds, premiering Saturday, August 17th, exclusively on the Yes app. Brought to you by Hexclad.
Mwah. Magnifico.
Popeyes has the best of both wings. Our juicy chicken is marinated to perfection with 2 distinct twists on all 6 flavors. Whether you prefer our spicy bone-in wings or our classic tender white meat boneless wings, we've got the best of both.
Everybody be asking me, man, does the Bluetooth actually work?
Bro, you get a month for free.
It's free. Why are you asking me and not finding out for yourself? The first month is free. Go get you some chewables, man. All right?
The story of my number.
52, 23, 33, 46.
The story of my number, presented by the New York Lottery, streaming exclusively on the Yes app.
Michael and Peter, and it is brought to you by Security Dodge. Go see Michelle Scalisi and...
Get some!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd like to start off by saying good evening to Michael.
Okay.
I don't know if Joey sounded like that.
That's very weird.
What about this one?
You don't talk about the method.
Oh, boy.
Michael again.
All he does is win, 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 no matter what.
He caught it, Peter. He knew he had to finish that off.
This is...
Peter.
You both suck.
Thank you.
You suck worse.
That was a troubling moment in the show as well.
Something that happened. Sure.
That happened. This happened as well.
Even our own Steve Young, not Steve.
What?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's 2 mistakes there, Anthony. Even our own Steve Blung, he's not ours anymore.
Oh, no.
And his name is Young, not Blung.
It's nice for us to think that he still is ours.
But he's not.
But he's not.
I love Steve Blung.
Another one that's probably going to make the tournament.
Brock Tua. That's right. a highlight moment.
Did you know
Michael
you were saying that, Peter? Did you know what you were doing?
The second I happened to write Brock and then Tua,
you thought of Haley Welch.
I went, here we go. No, again, I wouldn't think of her name, but I did think Hawk Tua.
A happy accident.
That's right.
Speaking of accidents.
We got the guy that said, this is the greatest life I've ever had, and I'm so proud of it.
Oh,
so you know what?
Right. Boy, never was Lou Gehrig's speech butchered more than that.
That was pretty bad.
He didn't say it the greatest life. He's the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
So wait a minute.
How did he...
Wait a minute. Forget how wrong it was. I don't think there was one correct word. Hang on.
We got the guy that said, this is the greatest life I've ever had, and I'm so proud of it. So you know what?
Right.
Like that he added.
This is the greatest
life I've ever had.
It's the only life he ever had.
Consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Yeah, I don't know if there's.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't
To
think
get
they even
every
match.
word wrong.
Not even a preposition.
Right.
Like nothing. He didn't happen to stumble onto an of. I mean, nothing. That is.
It's talent, is what it is.
I don't think you got a vowel right.
Yeah, that is something else.
Oh boy, what a day we've had today! But it's been fun, and we ended with this yesterday. I think it's appropriate that we start with it. Madden 25 ratings continue to come out, and we have a new member of the 99 Club on this. And Peter, you know this because I sent it to you. Michael, the tight ends came out today. Any idea who was?
It's got to be Travis Swift.
That's the guy on the Chiefs. Yep. Karma is the guy on the Chiefs. Travis Kelce, 99 overall. Peter was not thrilled.
Stupid.
Why is it stupid?
It's stupid.
He's a great player.
He's a fantastic player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He may be the greatest tight end who's ever lived. He's not a 99 anymore. He's a 96. He's a 95. He's an awesome player still. He's not a 99. Anthony, am I wrong?
Look, by the way, you also don't have to have a 99 at every position. There have been positions where there isn't a 99. George Kittle's a 97. So if we're going off of, I also think George Kittle's probably not a 97 anymore either. Starting Kelce as a 99, look, he's the best tight end in football. He's not at the level that he was. Absolutely not.
Was he better than Kittle last year? Yeah. Kittle.
Now, I'm not familiar with the video. Is anybody get 100? Ever go?
No,
99 is the top.
99's top.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Actually, during the regular season, Kittle was better than Kelce. More yards, more touchdowns.
You know how this goes, though, Peter. Let me see if I can. Let's see. They have
more receptions. More receptions though for Kelce.
Kittle's faster, 88 to 85 in the game, of course. Strength, Kittle has more, 82 to 79. You're looking at agility next. Kelce's better, 85 to 84. Jumping, Kelce has 94, Kittle has 90. Injury, which is the ability to stay healthy, Travis Kelce 97, Kittle 86. Kittle does get hurt, probably what hurts him the most. Stamina 97 to 94 in favor of Kelce.
How about girlfriend?
You know what? I don't think. I'm sure they'll try and put her in the game.
Now, a Kittle is married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like apples and wrenches.
I see what he's doing.
I know what you're saying, too.
Something for the locals. The corners were released. Sauce Gardner, highest-rated cornerback in the game.
They released him?
That's news.
Oh,
the
wow.
The cornerback ratings were released for Madden 25.
Sorry.
And Sauce Gardner was a 97 overall. Highest rated corner in the game.
I love Sauce.
So a lot of respect for the kid from Yonkers, Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. Great guy. Great player. Very talented.
Silly Sauce.
Now, in the real world, some troubling injury news.
Speedy Sauce, Michael. That's what we call him. Speedy Sauce. Sorry, go ahead.
DeAndre Hopkins out 4 to 6 weeks after suffering a knee injury during a recent practice. And we talked about this man earlier, Justin Herbert. He was diagnosed with plantar fascia in his right foot after the Wednesday's practice. It's going to put him in a walking boot for 2 weeks. And they believe he should be ready to play at the beginning of the season.
See, that worries me because that lasts a long time.
It doesn't go away.
No. It's got some level of pain for a long time.
And we already mentioned Mike Trout. A lot of injury, a lot of sad injury news today.
You mean other than the happy injury news?
Never really happy injury news. Never happy injury news. Tampa Bay Bucks and tackle Tristan Wirfs reached an agreement. 5 years, $140.63 million contract extension makes him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history.
I'm telling you guys, I think it's going to happen. I think they're probably reaching the tipping point.
In terms of?
The money they're giving out and the guaranteed money, especially when you have a hard cap, it's tough. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
It's going to be the point of no return?
Yeah, I think they're at that. I mean, they're handing out money like it's monopoly money.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. And we've seen a bunch of the guys that are holding out. Jamar Chase has been at practice but not practicing. CeeDee Lamb hasn't been at Cowboys practice. A lot of guys looking for money. A lot of guys not showing up. So a lot of interesting stuff out of camps already. We talked about Tariq Cohen retiring after saying he definitely felt all the way back on Tuesday.
Oh, then he completed his journey if he was all the way back.
He did come all the way back. It's interesting. That's 2 straight years now. Corey Davis and Tariq Cohen, 2 players that ended up retiring at the Jets during Jets training camp.
Let's ask Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, what do you think about these people retiring before even the games begin?
Well, Michael, Ricky and I, we'd found ourselves a nice bond. Last week, the two of us watched a film, went down to Greenwich Village, and watched a film together. Really interesting. Well, it was a reprise, Fauci. They brought back an old movie from the 70s about the moon landing and what was to believe, what wasn't to believe, but. No, the thing I tried to tell Tariq, it's all about where you get your medicine. And he's very big on the old school medicine, the old school way of thinking. So I hope that Ricky does well in his future endeavors, and he'll be a part of this family as long as I'm head of the table.
That's beautiful.
Have you talked to the coach today?
I talked to Robert. Sent him a text earlier.
Bobby or Robert?
No. Bobby is the candidate for president who I'll be supporting. Oh. And Robert is the guy who some refer to as coach. I strictly refer to as Robert. He's like Robert Saleh is like when your mom gets divorced from your dad and she starts dating a new guy and you don't know him well. You call him by his first name, sort of like disrespect, like.
Well, thank you.
That's what I think of Robert like. Thank you, Fauci.
No. It's always good to hear from.
Can we hear from Richard? I hear that you left him off, and I want to hear him. Some of the teams are lovely to look at, Richard. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, well, the bathing suits on the women are. Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
He's a man about town.
You hear that? Because he said, Michael, he was telling me how much he didn't like beach volleyball. And I said, sometimes I turn on the beach volleyball, and I keep it on for a moment or two. So I wanted to get his thoughts. But nice to know that he's an appreciator of the nice bathing suit.
I bet you Richard knows what a Russ Meyer movie is.
Oh, believe me, he knows.
Believe me. Peter, we wanted to do Peter's Olympic musings. It lasted all of one day. We didn't do it yesterday. We didn't do it the day before.
No.
I remember you had some thoughts, and of course, we're not going to spoil anything for at night, but anything that's caught your eye today?
Well, Fauci.
Wow, Rodgers is
doing it.
No, I mean, listen. I think you have to spoil. The only things to talk about today are things that would be airing on television.
To me, this isn't much of a spoiling. The women have clinched a spot in the quarterfinals in basketball. They won 87-74 over Belgium.
Right, but that's yeah, sure. They people. I guess you're right.
Who's a really special player doesn't get a lot of love because all the young players that are coming in, but Asia Wilson is amazing.
Oh,
I mean, I think people know that she's the best player in the league.
Yeah,
she might get MVP this year.
Yeah.
I got to take a look at what those. Remember, Peter, we were doing a little bit of a check every day of what those what the MVP was for the Rookie of the Year for Caitlin Clark and
it kept changing. I doubt it'll change much during the Olympics with either of them playing.
But we haven't looked in a while.
But the Olympic coach was Dawn Staley, right? She said that if they were picking a team now, it would be Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you paying attention at home, Breonna Stewart of your New York Liberty dropped a 26 spot.
Nice.
Asia Wilson 23.
Yeah.
Peter, you ruined it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Asia Wilson minus 4,000, by the way, to win regular season MVP. Caitlin Clark back up to minus 2,000 for Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese plus 700.
Yeah, that's only because there's a gap, and it goes back to the mean, right? I feel like they're not playing, so the yo-yos who are in Vegas start betting it. Well, let's wait and see.
Why call people you don't know yo-yos?
I just mean that it's not smart money, Michael. It's not sharp money, if you will.
Well, you know who has sharp money?
Who's that?
Joe Fortenbaugh. And he was on Carlin versus Joe.
Of course he's on it. It's a show.
And he listen, everybody takes vacation, Michael. And he had some thoughts on Robert Saleh and the way that he handles the media.
He's got to start getting ahead of these things. It feels like Saleh is very reactionary. And that's a problem. You got to see two, three plays down the field. You got to be able to see the field playing out in front of you. It's a chess game. You got to understand all of this. The media, go back to Mike Tomlin a few days ago when he was being pressured about the quarterback situation. Yep. And he was asked a question. He came right out. I'm not going to let you put me in a corner like that and then ask me about it every day. And then I jam myself up. I've been in the league far too long for that. He understands it. He gets in front of it. The media probably laughs at it and everyone moves on. That's what Saleh's got to learn to do. He's got to get ahead of these things. He's got to start seeing the chessboard 2 moves ahead rather than constantly reacting.
Yeah, but what's he talking about? The only thing I can think he's talking about was the way he handled the Rodgers situation. Well, you could have told them days before that Rodgers wasn't going to be there. But, I mean, is there something that set that off with Joe? Or he's just having a bad day because he looked across the table and saw Carlin there?
Oh, my goodness. What I think it could have something to do with is I guess people viewed Robert saying, and I'm calling him Robert, Coach Saleh saying that Rodgers won't play in the first 2 preseason games and probably won't play in the Giant game. And then Rodgers the day after saying, I hadn't spoken to Coach about that yet.
Well, that's not being a move ahead. That's not doing your job the right way.
Yeah, I guess it's just better communication.
Yeah.
Just in general.
And also, you know what? Rodgers didn't help Robert at all.
No.
Why even say, yeah, I'm cool with it, whatever he wants.
Especially because he said, these games don't matter the way they used to.
But Rodgers likes to always say, I'm the smartest guy in the room. And I'm the guy in charge. So rather than just say, yeah, I'm cool with that, whatever, he has to say, well, I hadn't even spoken about it with Robert. Why? For what reason?
I mean, put it this way. Does it really feel like football starting tonight?
No.
You guys said it yourselves. Are you going to turn on the Hall of Fame game? Now, granted, we're going to do a tremendous job with ESPN and ABC doing the production. It's going to be fantastic.
Look at that company guy, huh?
But when you hear that Caleb Williams isn't going to play, obviously, as we know, C.J. Stroud won't see the field. It's a tough sell to say that the real football is
But we're getting Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, right?
And listen, when you get Joe and Troy,
they could make flag football sound big. So,
you going to put anything down on that game, Peter? You said you were thinking about it.
No, I'm not.
I've got Houston minus 2.5.
There you go.
You're lame.
Yeah,
I love it. Is that for 1.2 points or 3 points?
That's a 3-pointer.
I think you're 3 point. Show me something, you gutless puke.
Yeah, there you go. Don's still here. Don's always still here.
Three.
I might be the wrong person. Does Don plan on working again or what? What's the deal?
Oh my! I'm assuming he'll be back on Tuesday next week.
Yeah, it seems like a long one.
He was active in the chat today.
Yes, he was asking very deep, probing questions.
He always does, doesn't he?
I mean, I don't want to give it away, but he kind of lapsed into politics.
Jacob did something in my ear there that was very, very funny. More news out of the Shohei Ohtani, Ipe Mizuhara bookmaker scandal.
No. I'll tell you what, they're laying big money tonight on the Hall of Fame.
Not they, Ipe.
Not they.
Sorry.
I don't know why they would do it because now we know the name of the man who was behind it all. Matthew Boyer, 49-year-old, was charged by prosecutors with operating an unlawful gambling business, money laundering, and filing a false tax return on June 21st, according to a plea agreement and charging documents filed in the U.S. District Court of the Central District of California. He'll plead guilty on August 9th, according to a news release from prosecutors, and a spokesman declined to offer for any additional comment. So we now know who the man was that was behind this gambling ring and who Ipe was giving the money to.
Go ahead.
That's just as part of the plea deal. Boyer admitted to receiving more than $4 million in unreported income in 2022, falsely reporting his taxable income. This is how you get caught if you're running an illegal
I do wonder, though. I mean, you're kind of caught between the rock and a hard place. If you're an illegal bookmaker and you're filing taxes. Yeah, I took in $6 million in bets, so here's my $3 million to the government for their cut. Kind of gives away that you're running the bookmaking ring.
No, Michael, obviously you are
Well, of course,
someone who's clearly never cheated on taxes, because the way he'd have to do it would be he'd have to say, oh, here's some job I did for $70,000. I'll declare that. I'll put this $3 million under a pillow and hope nobody notices.
Yeah, he did the whole unreported income of $4 million deal and said my taxable income was $607,000. Yeah, it didn't work out so well for him. And then that led to opening up his books and then finding out what we found out, which ended up being one of the most interesting stories of the MLB offseason.
That could be a storyline for Sebastian Maniscalco's show, season 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
How is that show, by the way?
It's a great show. Outstanding.
I remember when he came on to promote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like to go back and watch that thing.
You didn't watch it at all?
I watched like one episode and fell off.
No, it's good.
He and one of his co-hosts were on Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I think a week or two ago.
Really? Did they win?
Yeah, see? They won money for charity. I forget how much it was. Don would know. Don watches all those shows.
Peter, did you see that Colin Jost today was named the host of, not Celebrity Jeopardy, Pop Culture Jeopardy?
Ooh.
So I guess you could say he'll be the Jost with the most.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
By the way, does anybody have a better, other than Windhorst, of course, does anybody have a better job at the Olympics than Colin Jost?
He's been funny, too.
He gets to be out surfing out in the middle of the Pacific.
Yeah, he grew up as a kid on Staten Island surfing a lot. right under the Verrazano.
Yes. I think the water's just slightly clearer where he is.
Not at the Seine.
No, not at the Seine. That's why he's happy to be where he is. That's crazy, by the way. They still competed, but that I can't imagine that water was anywhere near where those competitors.
Didn't one of the competitors get out of the water and like started projectile vomiting?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's trouble.
Yeah, if you can see projectile vomiting, you should tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It should be in the tagline. New Giants offensive lineman Greg Van Roten. How do you feel entering camp,
here we go.
Greg?
Well, I mean, today was a hot one. But yeah, I mean, I've been working out. I'm in shape. Football shape's a little bit different. I think the science says like 20 full speed, like game reps maybe, but you got to be in shape to do that. So I'm going to take advantage of my time here in training camp to get myself into football shape.
Played that for one reason and one reason only. The cut itself is what it is. A player that wasn't at camp is now trying to get himself ready for camp. I know Michael loves the airport hangar that the Giants always record out of.
Well, it's better than the basketballs bouncing during Nick practice.
Oh, way better.
That's true, too.
You can at least hear what people are saying.
Yeah, definitely. Remember that Sunday ticket lawsuit, guys, that caught a lot of
course I do.
interest? Well, the judge who presided over the class action lawsuit said the jury did not follow his instructions in determining damages. U.S. District Judge Philip Gutierrez made the remark as he heard the NFL's post-trial motion asking that he rule for the league if he finds the plaintiffs did not prove their case. Gutierrez could order a new trial because the 8-person jury came up with its own calculations for damages. There isn't a timeline for when Gutierrez could rule on the motion. Remember how we said when this happened that it was going to take a while and we weren't going to know how much everybody was going to get? Well, this trial could be back on trial again.
Yeah, and the NFL has the money to just keep it going and going and going.
Yeah. So we will keep our eyes.
We're all just a squirrel trying to get a nut when it comes to the NFL.
And I know we heard from Aaron Rodgers, but we didn't hear about his buddy Devontae Adams. Connor Hughes was on ESPN Radio earlier, and he said if the Raiders make him available, Adams will go one place.
If he is made available by the Raiders, he will be a Jet. If he is made available, the Jets will get him.
I'm still trying to figure out how that's going to happen.
Why would the Raiders do it, though? The Raiders aren't giving up this season.
Why would they do it? It's a lot of money.
So what?
Well, no, I just in terms of not for the Raiders, for the Jets to take on.
Yeah, but why would the Raiders trade Devontae Adams? I mean, they have a coach that wants to win. They're mocking like Patrick Mahomes is Kermit the Frog.
That's going to come back to bite them.
But this isn't a team that like thinks they're going to go 5-12. They think they're going to be really good. Why would you trade one of the best wide receivers in football? Makes no sense.
I think Greeny said by Halloween he thinks he'll be a Jet.
I wonder if Greeny's Jet fandom has anything to do with that.
I know. I love how everyone just assumes that because that would be cool. It'll just happen.
Right.
I mean, I know people think the league is scripted, but that
little fantasy football over in Florham Park, right?
Yeah, why not?
Gordon Hayward has announced his retirement from the NBA after 14 seasons.
Nice
he
career.
announced on social media earlier today. Yeah, very nice career for him.
How do we move on as a league, though, without Hayward?
Well, we certainly first have to NDNN, and that's brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during the Make This the Summer event. I'm sorry, Peter, I left the very troubling news right at the end for you.
It's going to be tough for me. He was such an impactful Celtic. A part of history, some would say.
Did you get the cut that I asked you for earlier, Anthony?
I did.
In the words of Billy Joel.
Oh, here we go.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, you could check out a little minor league baseball as the low A affiliate of the Yankees, the Hudson Valley Renegades, take on the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. The Michael K. Show.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
Better lived untucked. Untuck It. Visit untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. Do you spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up to